Greetings, family. Welcome to Pan-Africanism towards Nationhood, building a global Black business pipeline. All right, and greetings and good night again, family. This is Bomani Tyehimba of Africa for the Africans, Tours and Investment, and I'm here with my good brother, Kala Genesis of Kala Genesis Radio and the Black African Infrastructure Organization. And family, we're the kings of Pan-Africanism with a vision towards nationhood. Greetings, my good brother. And
Greetings, brother Bomani.
you ready for another dynamic show as we have
Oh
another
yeah,
incredible topic from the genius mind of Kala Genesis. So tonight's
oh
topic
yes.
is the Pan-African ship of fools and deadly clowns. And this is the Afrikstan analysis with Kala Genesis and Bomani Tamba. So family, we're gonna get into it. And my good brother Kala Genesis, how you doing today? What's on your mind and why this topic? Before we
Well,
do an
this
intro.
topic is timely. Like I said, every time we do a show, and I explain the topic, then by the end of the show, people say, "Now I understand what they're talking about." Right? Right now, what I say the ship of fools is this. Right? A fool is not a bad thing. You just don't know. Like, oh, he's just a fool. He's just a fool. Boo Boo the fool. Oh, he's a fool. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, my son's a fool. My son's a fool. And what's happening is right now is people are joining the Pan African ship of fools. Where people are jumping on the boat of a ship that's going nowhere, and they're calling it Pan Africanism, right? And we're letting people run this movement, right? Who are leading us around like a bunch of fools. And so when we try to push back on it, right? Oh, you're a hater and blah 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 and all stuff like this. But we're going to talk about some of these people, right? Oh, let me name a couple. Akon, the Akon City. People join that ship of fools. R.J. Mahdi. The ship of fools. That people just join them, stuff like that. And also, like I said, I'm gonna be very careful about my words tonight, right? A fool is not a bad thing. We have to have empathy for the fool. You know, the fool is easily taken. Like I said, there's an old saying in the Bible. Old saying, excuse me, God forgive me, right? It's a verse in the Bible, I believe. It says, "A fool and his money will soon part." That means if you're a fool, right? You're sooner or later you're gonna get scammed. Sooner or later you're gonna get beguiled, right? Sooner or later you're gonna step on the ship of fools, right, and be taken. But you're not to be hated. I don't hate all the people that went to Africa and lost, right? Because hey, I was a fool once. We all were fools. We all got into stupid things. Like, damn, how did I get into this Amway thing? Yeah, what the hell? Think all things you got into, and it didn't work out, and you're like, but then you got these people, right? You meet them years later. Yeah, you was just with Amway 30 years ago, and they're still like, yeah, I tell you right now, it's under a different name. They're still going at it, dude. You still working a job? You never left your job. You said years ago that you gonna walk away from your job. You're still at your job. You're still trying to build this Amway business. At some point in time, right, you become a what? A fool, you know? And there's some people, right, who are so terrified of being a fool that they don't take risks at all. There's two different things. There's a fool, right? And there's the anti-fool. The anti-fool basically sees everything, any risk whatsoever as ain't anybody gonna make no fool out of me. Ain't nobody gonna make no fool out of me. No, someone will make a fool out of you. But just that you just don't want to make it seem like the wrong people will make a fool out of you. That's the whole thing. So therefore, there's nothing wrong with being a fool. You see people all the time tell me, yeah, somebody lost $100,000 in Senegal dealing with RG Mahdi. Okay, everybody's a fool. Or somebody went here and they lost this money and they lost property. You got one sister went to Ghana, thought she was gonna live with the people and this that and the other thing. She lost everything. Her life was threatened and everything, and she's really bitter. Everybody acts the fool. Everybody plays the fool. Everybody gets played like the fool. But what we're trying to do is sink that ship of fools, right? My goal is to be at the loading dock saying to people, the college Genesis, you can see me in a hat and a uniform They don't board this ship, brothers and sisters. You're boarding the ship of fools and whatnot. Join the ship of Pan-African for Nationhood with Bomani and College and the Black African infrastructure. There's two ships sailing here. There's a ship of righteousness and what's going right, and there's a ship of fools. You know. Now, if you're gonna go on the ship of fools and everything, and don't listen to Brother Bomani and Kala, then you're gonna be a fool. We don't hate you. We'll forgive you and everything. We got people in Ghana right now losing money. They're dissatisfied with what happened in the Sable and everything. I can't tell people what to do with their life. They're grown people. They're gonna do what they want to do. But at one time, you become a fool. And there's nothing wrong with being a fool, you know, so long as you're young, right? But after you get a certain age, you don't want to be 65, 70 years old and still be a fool, you know? You don't want to be sitting there living on a piece of property with nothing and whatnot, and the hopes of becoming a Ghanaian and being a fool, you know? The bottom line is, and also right now with our culture in Black America and Africa and everything like that, we have a penchant for electing fools, right? The more it seems like the more dumber you are, the more foolish you are, the more silly you are, the more people like you. So this is what we're talking about here. Are we gonna keep sailing on the ship of fools because people tell us what feels good, what excites us, and everything? Are we gonna start doing the hard reality of life and everything, or we just give it up? We just say, go back to the white man, say, something, white man, y'all right about us and whatnot. We need y'all to come in Africa and Black America and everything and give us thing, and we'll go back to the Cool and the Gang era of celebrate good times. Come on, let's celebrate. That's what white people really want you to do. They want you basketball slamming. They want you Shaquille O'Neal smiling. They want you to do all this stuff like this, right? And understand that they're the master, and you just basically provide them with entertainment and everything. If you're gonna do that, then he'll provide a place for you in this world. He'll give you some accolades. He'll make some of you rich. But if you really want to, there's only two ways. You either go that way or you go all the way out, like what Bomani College is doing, and you say, look, it's time for us to build, to take our best minds and best everybody and make the hard choices to build both a global black business pipeline and global black business infrastructure and everything. No shortcuts, no foolishness and everything. We have to do this to the highest level. So that's what I want to open with tonight.
Yes, my brother Color Genesis, setting it off on fire. Appreciate the energy, family. And once again, the topic is the Pan-African ship of fools and deadly clowns. So Color Genesis is going to get deep into it, and we're going to open things up for if you want to join us and dialogue with us or debate Color on this specific topic. So family, before we continue with the main event with Color, I'm going to share with you our current and upcoming Africa tour schedule. So if you're interested in joining us on the journey of a lifetime to Africa, that's the website right here, africafortheafricans.org. All right, and as soon as you get to our website, you see this big, beautiful banner, and all you have to do is just scroll on down, and you get access to all of the information. All right, so once you're on the website and you're down at the bottom, you can look to the left to the main menu. And if you're looking for tours, all of the tours are detailed. And if you're looking to join us on our Pan-African investment, that's Black Star. So you see the link right there at the top. And once you click on the link, the website is full details and all updates is right there. Everything is kept updated. You scroll down, you see these incredible Africa tour books. And let me just click on this one. All right, so these are some of the samples of some of our tour books. And these are just guides that we have, digital guides and also printed guides for those who are looking to travel with us on a journey of a lifetime. So this is one of the things that we've produced that I haven't seen people copy. So good luck on this one. This is from the genius energy of our Bomani technology. So using high technology to just share with you our experience and just having things organized. Now these are just random books, and the last three countries it shows is Ghana, Tanzania, Senegal, and the Gambia. And once you click on it, it's a flip book, or you can click on the download button and give you a copy of a PDF download version of the book. So that's what we're working with, and that's what we're dealing with. Now let me get back to the flow of our schedule on the main menu. And so the next journey we have going is our Tanzania Roots and Culture journey. That is November 16th to the 27th, so less than 3 weeks, and we're ready to head to Tanzania. Looking forward to showing you highlights from our fourth journey of a lifetime to Tanzania. It's been another incredible country visiting, and we're going to show you this a mix of from Arusha, Dar es Salaam to Zanzibar Island, to this us going and moving around from airport and so on. So all kind of incredible highlights, including nightlife, networking, this whole lot of cultural experience. Right. And then we're going to close out the year and start the year off with our South Africa Roots and Culture Tour. That's December 24th to January 4th. Right. And that is going to be our second time doing this journey to South Africa, and we're looking to replicate it for the following year in 2024. So for those who missed that journey and also missed the Tanzania journey, we're going to work it back on the schedule. And we're going to set the year off with our featured journey of a lifetime. That's Liberia Reconnection and Investment Tour. That's March 29th to April 9th, 2024. So that's one of the incredible journeys that we have set with a nice energy of an investment conference that's looking to get you more connected to living, doing business, and open your mind to the future of Liberia, as me and Kala and a network of us are working together to create a nice experience for those who are looking to build their future in the African continent. So stay tuned for that. As far as us, all the things that we progress and all the things that we work on. Well, the goal is to do a few more live streams and do a few more interviews with a few people. But the ultimate thing is to show you all of the highlights in the country that we can just get a nice feel of all the things we're doing. So that's our goal. It's to document the full experience to the highest level. That way we can just work it back on the schedule. For those who missed that journey also, you can just join back with us. And our summer journey is our Ghana Repatriation and Investment Tour. That's July 11th to the 23rd. And that is our 24th journey of a lifetime. So this will be the 24th times that we've done our Ghana journey over the 18 years of that at that point. But right now we're 17 years strong from 2006 to 2023. So that journey in Ghana will give you lots of updates on what we talked about earlier, which is the Black Star Pan-African community, and create more documentation of all the development going on. So then you can get a piece of the future, and you can just join an energy for us to build and transcend something for the future of our people, and also just to make a good reconnection point to where we can just have a nice presence on the African continent, to where we can connect and network more with our people and do business and put our energy together. So that is the move that we're making and building. So lots of highlights on YouTube and lots of documentation here on the website. So our fall journey is to Egypt, our Roots and Culture journey. That's November 21st to December 2nd. And that will mark my 20th year traveling, and also my 20th year from our first journey to Egypt with Dr. Ranoka Rashidi. So that's an incredible Nile Valley experience, along with this incredible shopping, networking, nightlife, also this beautiful resorts. And this is just an incredible 5-star experience with a Nile Valley cruise, right? And we're going to close out the year and begin the year again in South Africa. And this will be our third journey of a lifetime, December 24th to January 4th. Right? And what we're looking to do is get back to Senegal and the Gambia, and we'll see how things go based on people interest. So if you're looking to connect with us. If not enough people show interest, we'll work another schedule, but we're rotating schedules. So once you click on the link, family, all of the details are opened up, and you can just review the overview, the itinerary, the general terms, preparation details, visa information if you need one, or if the country requires one. And once you scroll down, these are the supporting documentation. We do have a Ghana conference call tomorrow. That's was supposed to be a private conference call, but none of our conference calls are private, but that's a public call. But these are a list of conference calls for this all the countries in general that we do that we're traveling to. So that is that schedule, and then in between, then we may have direct conference calls for certain countries. So if you're in one of our groups on WhatsApp or on the email list, that information be sent to you. All right. And if you're on the social network Facebook, that's always posted on the group pages. And as you scroll down, you can contact me on WhatsApp. And also, this is the list of social pages that you can just view videos and photos and this presentation. And then once you scroll down some more, that is a list of all of our 30 plus 17 years journey of a lifetime to the African continent. And in that alone is 23 journeys to Ghana. So looking to expand on more countries, but that is the foundation of what we're building, and looking to this make that connection from Ghana to Liberia. So stay tuned, our family. We're going to keep it strong. And these are just from medium-sized, big groups, small groups. And you'll see in the years of the 2020s during COVID-19, nothing stops us. We organize ourselves and we just make our way and just keep that energy going. It's kind of like a lifeline of energy going back and forth from Africa to America to Africa, just keeping that energy going and building a strong future. So this is a long-term vision, and looking to just get more people to connect with us so we can work in essence and energy. And if you're looking for a nice welcome energy, all the countries you see us traveling to, that's a great introduction. And then if you want to stay longer, if you want to do some more things, we got your back. But family, as you scroll down, you see more and more journeys. And over the last good 6 years, from 2017 to 2023, we have had these multiple journeys of 2 to 4 journeys per year. So that's our expansion. So you can keep on scrolling down, and it goes all the way down to 2006. But let me get back to the top, and let me just connect back with our good brother Kala Genesis for our scheduled program. And so that's a beautiful website, family. You can just listen to some of the nice cultural music, enjoy the slideshow, and visit the social pages for all the documentation.
Yeah, I cannot wait until you add all the Liberia documentation, and eventually we're going to hit countries like Angola, Zambia, and who knows, the DR Congo, who knows. But the bottom line is this movement keeps going on. That's why we're steering people towards us, because Bomani Tyehimba has a proven track record that he can get the job done. This is not something you could do off the back of your hand. This is this brother works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't know how he does it, but he's really dedicated to his movement, and he's produced and he's delivered. On everything he said he was going to do and everything. So if you are rocking with Bomani, and then somebody comes to you and offer you some free land, and you go off that person, that's unforgivable. You know what you're doing is you're diminishing, and people who do like that, right, don't respect hard work. They don't respect hard work. I honor Bomani because the work he puts into this business. And I see that, and I feel like it's my job and my duty to support a brother like this. That's why when you're dealing with people that's real. When people recognizes that somebody's real and somebody's doing the work and somebody's producing results and they're upfront and they're transparent and everything like that, you have a duty to think, even if you don't may not like them personally, right? I don't like what he said to me one time, or he dissed me one night, so I'm gonna go off to do something else one night. See, that's the problem with our people. And that's what I said. And when you think like that, then you are a FOOL, a fool. You're easily steered away. You're weak. You are no use to this movement. We need strong men and women of character that's trying to build something, not play games. When you're an adult, you should have some sort of something accomplished in your life to bring to this movement, other than just basically talking that you just so tired of America, you hate America, and blah 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 blah. So you're gonna take a leap of faith and go lead this country with no infrastructure, with no back, no money, no infrastructure, no anything. You just gonna go to the continent, and then when you get to the continent, you fail, or your life unravels and comes apart and whatnot. Years later, you're gonna come back and tell, "Oh, Pan African movement was stupid because I didn't fail." No, you didn't follow instruction. You didn't do all the things that were necessary to make your Pan African mission work. So this is what we're talking about now. We're giving people guidance. The Black infrastructure as a network of people. What Bomani's doing, several other people that would never. This is not some overnight thing. This is not instant gratification. This is delayed gratification for a bigger thing. And the fool only wants instant gratification. He wants things right here and right now. He wants his Pan Africanism served hot in 5 minutes on the grill. No, this is something you have to build. It's something you have to build. It's something you have to sustain. It's something you have to maintain. It's something you have to believe in. You have to really believe in this and have faith in this. Believing and faith are two different things. Faith comes, but not by hearing, as things that are hoped for with evidence unseen. You know what that means? That means you have faith in something, or something you haven't unseen. What gives you faith? You always get faith when if you look at somebody and they've already done it before, and that person has virtue and they're doing the thing, you have faith that this person could deliver what I'm trying to what I'm trying to get to. That's what it means by having a faith. I have faith. I don't know perfect. I don't know everything, but I think I'm gonna put my faith in this person because I see what he's doing. I look at his character. I look at his accomplishments, and I have faith in what he's doing. That's what faith means. And very few people could ask for that faith. And I see Brother Bomani where he does, and he's delivered on all these years and everything. I do think we owe him that to have faith in this brother and whatnot, and stop trying to doubt him all the time. Stop trying to fight him, and stop letting people peel you off every time somebody comes with a new vision, whatever that comes along. So this is what we're talking about tonight, folks. We're talking about tonight. We're talking about basically, are we going to basically be a real people, or we're just going to be on the ship of fools, and then making the movement look bad? Because right now, the so-called Pan-African movement look bad. We had JT the bigger figure. They say he made off of like $15 million, right? No one's talking about it because he's a rapper. Oh, well, he made off of $15 million. He had no business talking about land investments in Kenya. Things got messed up. Oh, no big deal. It's only black people's money. Hey, no big deal. The ship of fools, DJ Envy, with this guy Mina. He uses his platform to hoodwink people, and maybe they were sincere, but they know they don't have money. You know when you don't have your shit together, and you're going on a hope and prayer. You ever go to these meetings with people and you're trying to fill each other out, who's real, who's not? You're like, yo, he's thinking you the man, and you thinking he the man. I'm saying both of neither one of you ain't got shit, ain't got two dimes to rub together and whatnot, but you're waiting to hear what you want to hear and whatnot. He's gonna tell you, yeah, I got this money coming in, and you go, oh yeah, 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 yeah. You get hopeful. That's all it has to do because once you hear that little yeah, yeah, the money's gonna be here tomorrow. That relieves you, so you stop doing your due diligence and whatnot because he pacified a legitimate interest in that you might question what he's talking about, and we do that all the time. So therefore, people they hear things and they know they're being scammed, right? For all the grifter has to do is basically say, "Oh yeah, this person over here has one guy just made $2 million, man. I just had to well, I had to walk him to the bank with 3 suitcases full of money. Wow, you're thinking in your mind, why did he say that? Because he knows in your mind you're thinking, yeah, I want to be walking to the bank with 2 suitcases full of gold and money too. Want to help him sort out the money. So, but you're being scammed. You know you're being a fool, and you go along with it. because you are so emotional, and you want to basically join the ship of fools and everything. And so, like I said, I don't hate you. It's the answer to fool is folly. And so we look at these people that are making these mistakes on the continent and everything, but when they do get crushed, whatever, there's time for you to humble yourself and say, you know something, I didn't know what I was doing. I made a mistake. I got caught up in a scam, whatever like that. I made a mistake. I looked at Lou Major and Taiwo and everything like that. I caught up. Yeah, intelligent people. Some of those people were intelligent. Some of those people came from Bomani, right? Got caught up in a multi-million-dollar scam in Ghana and Nigeria and everything like that. One older brother, I forgot his name, Bomani. This guy sounded like he was educated, like he knew what he was talking about. But hey, when you join the Pan African ship of fools, hard. That's like it's like this desire. Look. There's always a desire to build Africa. We always have this idea that if we could build Africa, we could be free. Well, I get that, but don't take that the natural desire to build your homeland and put it behind people who don't who are going to exploit your curiosity and your desire to come to the homeland, the motherland, and thing. They may be sincere too, but they may not be the people that to do it. And some people, I have not found any evidence of that. Some people may be malicious and trying to really outright scam, or they're basically saying to themselves, "If you're stupid enough to think you're going to come here and build this, why should I capitalize off of you Negroes coming here with all this money?" Right now, it's a big thing now. Black people coming from America. Right now, you got Kenya and Ghana going at it with each other. They're both trying to get to steer the ship of fools to their shores. Kenya's taking swipes at Ghana, and also Holloman. He just caused a big stir. He's like, oh, also Holloman. He just gave his opinion on Ghana. He said, I think he's not really a better country. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what he walked into. And they're coming for blood. These Ghanaians like we're ready to kill also Holloman. How dare? Why? Because Ghana has a monopoly right now on the Pan African ship of fools. And now you got other countries getting in on the act and everything like that. And the Pan African shuffle. Everybody on the ship of fools doing the Pan African shuffle. And God's looking down it's like these poor fools. You know, they don't have no plan to build no Black African infrastructure. They don't have any plan to build an Afrikstan. They have nothing like that. They just go in Africa just to go to Africa and everything. And the people that are going to benefit from that are people that's going to host them, make money here and there and everything. And like I said, if you really look at this thing, there is no real 100-year plan in Africa. If there was anything really worth building, right? Everybody would have a 100-year plan. President Ruto says, "I want the diaspora to come to Africa, come to Kenya." What diaspora? You talking about the Kenyan diaspora, the Nigerian diaspora, or you always talking about African Americans? Okay, where's the 100-year plan? Where's your projections and everything? How we could fit in to your plan? What could we be strategically aligned with? We have cities, industrial cities in America. We can help President Ruto rebuild from places like Pittsburgh, Detroit, and everything like that because we have abandoned steel mills. We could fund the steel operations, the steel industry in Africa, right? We could be major players in the supply chain of steel and heavy industry to Africa, right? But it's just there's no 100-year plan, and we don't know there's one, right? We don't know where to fit in. We just all are the sailing on the ship of fools, the Pan African ship of fools. No direction, no nothing, So, so this is what we're talking about tonight, folks. You know, Knowledge Seeker said it's a movement. That's a movement. It does not imply improvement. It's just people moving. Yeah, okay. People put in faith in people they believe in. Yeah, faith and belief are usually what religion. But no, religion is something you do over it. I'm glad you said that, bro. Faith is different than a religion. You know, a religion is something you do regardless of whether it's real or not. It's my religion. A Muslim. Somebody tell you you can blow your brains out. You're gonna get 27, 72 virgins in heaven one night. That's a religion. You know, faith means that I have a faith in this thing right here because this is what I believe in and this is what my convictions are. So this is my faith. You know, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm doing my normal thing in life, like me. Say, Carl, what faith you practice? I'm a Christian faith, right? Also practice Islam and Buddhism, all the stuff like that as a religion, right? But as far as my faith is Christianity, you know, I practice Islam as a religion and Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, and Taoism as a religion or whatever. I study the religion, but as a faith is like what evidence of what I've seen, what I hope for is what Christianity. That's what I grew up in. That's my faith. You know, religion is something different. You know, I don't have a Christian religion. You know, so in other words, basically, for what I know about the Christian faith and whatnot, that's what I believe in. Of course, somebody who's a Christian religion person is somebody who basically like, oh, he goes around proselytizing and condemning other people and stuff like that. I don't do that. That's a religion. That's a cult. That's a religion. I don't do that. But this is what we're talking about tonight, folks. You know, faith is another term for belief. If it's a trust or thing unseen, yes, unseen. That's a faith, right? When you basically have a situation where you put your money in with trust in a bank, right? A bank is a trust, right? You trust that that fund is going to be there. You have faith and trust in something, right? It's going to materialize. It's going to give you interest. It's going to yield something. You know, that's what faith is all about. Now, when you say now, it's our job as people leading the Pan African world, right, to never overpromise, never sell things that are not true. Why? Because we want people to put their faith in us, right? When people put their faith in you, they're going to put their time, money, and effort behind you. And I don't buy this idea that people believe in you and they don't ever put in work for you. If people don't put their work, and there's an old saying in the Bible says, faith without works is dead. In other words, if you have faith, but you don't have any works behind it, that's dead. Not death is dead. You have faith, but you have no works. When you have faith in what we're doing, the Pan African towards nationhood, you put your works in. What's your works? We ask people all the time. Like, share, and subscribe to the video. You know, you can't do that. Hit the PayPal. I mean, excuse me, the super chat. You know, subscribe, share the link around thing. You know, that's putting works behind what you're doing. Sign up for one of our tours. That's works. So what we're doing basically is looking for people who believe in this faith of land infrastructure nationhood and Pan African nationhood. And if you believe that's your faith, right, then it's time for you to put in some works. It's not enough to bring in that faith and belief. You got to put in works. You know, what can you do to do this? That's why I don't let people get me sidetracked and they come into the movement, they hang around, but yet they want to divert you to something else. They have their own agenda. No, this is the agenda we have right here. You know, this is the works we put in here. This faith of land infrastructure, nature, and pan-Africanism. That's our faith as far as the pan. This is our faith. This idea that one day we'll have a nation of our own on the African continent. That's a faith. Now it's time for people who believe that faith to put in work. You know, and what is work is what we're trying to do with these tours, what we're trying to do with investment and everything. If everybody gets on this boat, sail on this boat, will be delivered. But if people want to keep getting on a Pan African ship of fools and keep making the same mistakes over and over again, what can we do? You know, because I'm sick and tired of hearing about the sob story. Even though, like I said, we love our people and whatnot, and we know our people are fools. You know, I listen to them all the time. I know the people that's going to the continent. They're not the most educated among us. They're not the smartest people among us. They're people driven up by emotion. They're driven by. Hey, if you look at read my novel Journey to the Promised Land, right? That was the ultimate test of faith. I said that in the novel. People put their faith in this journey. Who boarded the Azores? They're sailing into the unknown, but they put their faith in the fact that if they do all the right things, they will be delivered, and they were given a given promise by the government of Liberia of 25 acres of land apiece if they settle there. And with that alone, right, the journey began because they had a country, a black ruled country that they were going to go to. So if you want to know about faith and perseverance and trials and tribulation, read this novel. It's all about faith. It's all about faith. And like I said, faith without works is what? Dead. They had a faith that they looked at America right at that time in the 19th century. 19th century. Now, we're not talking about religion. Right now, this is our religion tonight. Pan-Africanism towards nationhood. This is our religion tonight. This is our faith tonight. Whatever people want to do on Sunday morning and whatever like that, they go to church. That's on them. But this is what's going to deliver us. So let's talk about this religion, this faith of Pan Africanism towards nation building, nationhood. Well, let's talk like the Jews talk about when they have the Zionist movement. The Zionist movement was a faith, but it was backed up by what? Works and deeds. We have a lot of people who talk Pan Africanism, but nobody puts up any works. Nobody puts any deed. Nobody puts any money behind it. That means you really don't believe in this. So let's get to that point where this becomes a new faith. You can combine this with your Christian faith, your Muslim faith, everything. We need a homeland of our own. We need a homeland of our own. So, so the bottom line of this. So we need a homeland, a nation of our own. That's what's killing us. That's why we're losing on a global scale. That's why we're powerless. That's why we have deadly clowns running the movement. You know, because we do not have a faith in something that we control for our own. So, anything to add to that, brother Bomani?
Color, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was saying, you want to add to that? About what I was just saying about the faith and works and stuff like that. Because
No, I mean it's one of those things where you want people to keep their faith and keep their energy going, but uh, on top of it, I don't think you can get faith and all those things to just flow like that unless you put the work, unless you just go out there and just add to that energy. So for
right,
me personally, it's a two-in-one situation, not
yeah,
just sitting home hoping and and praying and hoping that things go a certain way, but actually just organizing and making things happen. So when people talk about us connected to Africa, our energy that you and I are working on in Liberia, that's we have our faith that we want everything to go well with the
right,
election, go well with the folks and people and people support energy, but at the same time too, we're putting the work in to push that energy. But that's how I
yeah,
look at it, and I try to keep it simple.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, what we do, what we're doing, what we're doing, we can do our part, right? We have a faith that Liberia could be the promised land that was meant to be. That's our faith. But we have to put the works in, and so therefore, like I said, the reason why I have so much faith in Liberia because I look at the history, and I'm only going by what my ancestors already started. I said, hey, your ancestors went there. The laws is the same, and you know something? There's nothing in the Constitution that says that you have to be an actual Liberian to be part of Liberia. You know that there's nothing in the Liberian Constitution that even mentions Liberia, what a Liberian is. It just means you're a person of Black, African, Negro descent. So you got people running around. Oh yeah, who's not a Liberian? If they really look at the Constitution, that's why I want to in the future we're gonna have our own lawyers in Liberia, constitutional lawyers. You know, because people are gonna basically like um, uh, uh, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, no, the such and such tribe. No, 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 bro. According to the Constitution, you know, any black person who lands in this country is a part of this republic. You know, Christian Basil said, Africa really don't think they have a desire to have a nation of their own. Johnny used to talk. Africa talk they can't run. The bottom line is this, if you have South Sudan, right, who have the faith, where the 90% illiterate population, most people are primitive and animist right now. That if they got the faith that they could run their own modern state, when how can you have the most advanced group of black people on the freaking planet who are sitting here complaining about racism, white supremacy, right? And the answer is a nation of your own, a nation state of your own on the African continent, and you don't feel you can run it. See the mind? Or you feel that you need to go to another country, a failing country, and all these other countries in Africa. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my Tanzanian passport. I'm gonna get my Kenyan passport. Dude, we could do it 1,000 times better in these countries because we have the mind and the brain power. I know we do. You know, black people don't even think about that. Why don't we build our own state? How come we can't have an arrangement like like Dubai, United Arab Emirates, right, where they have a separate state, but part of a host country? Why are we not thinking on that level? You know, why? Because we're joining the Pan-African ship of fools. And when things go bad in these countries and everything, you have no power. You have less power in these countries than you do in America. Because in America, at least you have a voice. You can vote. You can say something. In Africa, you're expected to sit back and just let these people rule over you and take from you and abuse you and whatever like that, you know. And that's what it is, you know. So this is what we're talking about tonight, you know. The Pan African ship of fools. They don't want to do the real work of nation building. That should be when we say the idea of an Afrikstan, a nation built nation state for the diaspora to settle in and build a government of our own, a constitution, a government of our own. It starts with countries like Liberia, right? But yes, yeah, so it starts with countries like Liberia, and then basically, eventually, we have our own state, our own municipalities. It starts with our own municipalities on the African continent. People don't talk about that. You know, how do you collect taxes? How do you build roads? How do you do this stuff like that? Well, the chiefy weefy don't want to build a road. Man, I complain all the time. We can't get up there because we got everything got to go to the chiefy weefy. You know, and I'm saying to myself, man, I would feel sorry for you, but I don't no more. You should have known Chiefy Weefy don't care about nothing but Chiefy Weefy and himself. So this is what we're talking about tonight, folks. So people want to get on and join the discussion or what?
Yes, and I'm posting the link. And also, what I can do is just switch over to that video you sent me earlier, the
Yeah,
YouTube
let's
video.
watch the videos. Whatever you want to send me. I can't remember all the videos I sent you. But I sent you a
No,
few over the last
it's
couple of
on
days.
YouTube. I'll pop it up real quick. All right, this one is titled 10 African Countries That Ban the Export of Raw Materials to Europe.
Okay, we can watch that. We could. It's 10 minutes long. We can watch that, and I'll give my analysis on this.
All right, perfect breakdown. And then hopefully, once we finish up, some people have some questions or they can join, and you can just so family, if you got a real good question or something that you just want us to analyze or talk about, just post it full detail with a nice super chat, and let's keep it going. All right, so this one, so I can play about 5-10 minutes of it. Depends how good it is.
2023, Ghana's cabinet decided to ban the export of unprocessed minerals, such as lithium. This move follows the footsteps of several other African nations that have taken similar measures. The goal is to maximize the benefits of their natural resources. African countries have increasingly shown a tendency to resist neo-colonialist economic schemes. Ghana, as a West African giant, aims to retain a significant portion of the value chain by processing the minerals before exporting them. Samuel A. Jinapol, Ghana's Minister of Land and Natural Resources, explains that this new policy is expected to become law by the end of 2023. Ghana is not alone in making such changes. In December 2022, Zimbabwe also took a similar step by restricting the export of unprocessed lithium. Many African countries, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, and Namibia, have intermittently restricted or completely banned the export of unprocessed minerals. This trend is driven by a desire to realize economic growth and development within their borders. Research published in May, earlier this year, by the Africa Development Forum reveals that between 2017 and 2022, there was a significant increase in demand for lithium, cobalt, and nickel. The energy sector, in particular, played a crucial role in driving this demand. The International Energy Agency, IEA, released a report in July, stating that the demand for these minerals has been rising due to their importance in renewable energy technologies. While there is a growing demand for African minerals in the Western world, some analysts argue that African countries should not simply react to external demands.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything online.
They should focus on developing their renewable energy sectors and utilize the interest from Western countries to enhance their mining capabilities. By doing so, African nations can chart a better course for their sustainable development. In summary, the script highlights Ghana's decision to ban the export of unprocessed minerals, aligning with a larger trend among African nations. It emphasizes the importance of maximizing the value of natural resources and developing domestic industries. The script also points out the increasing demand for these minerals in the energy sector and suggests that African countries should focus on their renewable energy development while leveraging Western interests to improve their mining capacity. 10. Niger bans uranium exports. Over the past decade, France has imported a total of 88,000 metric tons of natural uranium, with the majority coming from three countries: Kazakhstan, 27%, Niger, 20%, and Uzbekistan, 19%. While Niger plays a significant role in France's uranium supplies, some politicians tend to overestimate its global importance. However, Niger's position as a primary producer has diminished over the years due to high production costs and declining prices until 2016. By 2022, Niger accounted for only 4% of global uranium production. In comparison, Kazakhstan led with 43%, followed by Canada, 15%, Namibia, 11%, and Australia, 8%. Despite having the highest grade uranium ores in Africa, Niger's output in 2022 was 2,200 metric tons, representing just 5% of global mining output, according to the World Nuclear Association. This was a decrease from 2,991 tons in 2020. The three largest uranium producers globally are Kazakhstan, Canada, and Namibia. In Niger, there is one major mining operation in the north, operated by France's state-owned Orano. Another significant mine closed in 2021, and one is currently under development. Two notable uranium mines in Niger are the Arlit mining site, consisting of several open-pit mining sites near the city of Arlit in the northwest, operated by the joint venture Samura, a partnership between Orano and Niger's state-owned Sopermin, and the Kuta mining site, an underground mine near Akokem in the southwest. The Arlit mine produced 75,000 metric tons of uranium from 1978 until its closure in March 2021, after depleting its ore reserves. 9. Ghana imposes a ban on the export of unprocessed gold. On July 27, 2023, Ghana's cabinet made a significant decision to ban the export of unprocessed minerals, specifically lithium. This move aligns with the trend observed in several other African nations, as they share a strategy to maximize the benefits of their natural resources. Ghana's new policy, expected to become law by the end of the year, aims to retain a significant portion of the value chain before exporting products. The Minister of Land and Natural Resources, Samuel A. Jinapor, emphasizes that this decision by African countries, including Ghana, is not a coincidence. These nations are rich in minerals like lithium, which is a crucial component of batteries. The shift towards green technology and the increasing focus on electric vehicles by major automakers in the developed world has prompted African governments to realign their export strategies. By retaining more value within their borders and processing minerals before export, African countries like Ghana aim to benefit from the growing demand for green technologies and electric vehicles. This strategic move allows them to maximize the returns from their natural resources, while contributing to the global shift towards sustainable practices. 8. Gabon bans the export of logs. Since January 2010, Gabon has prohibited the export of wood in the form of logs as part of its efforts to promote the growth of its timber industry and contribute to a diversified economy. To successfully implement effective policies for economic diversification and sustainable development, it is crucial to understand the impacts of past policies and explore future possibilities. On May 15th, the West African nation of Gabon took a significant step by implementing a complete ban on log exports. This decision has been effectively enforced, resulting in a complete halt of log exports from Gabon. The International Timber Trade Organization confirms the ban's success, although approximately 60,000 cubic meters of logs, mostly intended for China, remain in port due to the ban. The decline in log exports from Gabon has led to an increase in logging activities in nearby Cameroon. Gabon aims to mitigate job losses caused by the ban by expanding its market for processed wood products. Eventually, the country intends to shift its focus towards finished wood products. The ban's primary objective is to encourage the growth of the local industry for processed wood products and combat illegal logging. Additionally, Gabon hopes to benefit from the reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation (REDD+) program, which is expected to commence in the coming year. By participating in this program, Gabon aims to profit from initiatives that reduce greenhouse gas emissions associated with deforestation and forest degradation. Through these measures, Gabon seeks to promote sustainable practices, support the growth of its timber industry, create job opportunities, combat illegal logging, and contribute to global efforts to address deforestation and climate change. 7. Guinea suspends agricultural exports to Europe. Guinea is a country with significant untapped potential in terms of raw materials, but it often goes unnoticed. However, it's not surprising that many West African countries source essential food items like rice, onions, tomatoes, and more from Guinea. Despite its mineral wealth, including iron, bauxite, and gold, Guinea remains one of the poorest nations globally. To address food security concerns and promote social stability, the government has imposed export bans on around 15 products. These include rice, onions, dried and fresh chilies, eggplants, okra, fresh tomatoes, taro, cassava, maize, yams.
If you want to learn how to edit really well from professional Hollywood editors, we're going to show you the stuff that nobody else is teaching. I'm talking about real creative skills, like how you can use music and sound.
Wheat potatoes, and palm oil. The decision to ban these exports is unrelated to the end of a grain export agreement between Russia and Ukraine, which may impact food importing African countries. An official from the Trade Ministry clarified that the ban aims to ensure food sovereignty and maintain social peace. Violators of the ban could face fines as a deterrent. It's important to replenish our reserves and secure our food supply, stated an official from the Trade Ministry when speaking to AFP. The official emphasized that this move is not connected to the Russian-Ukrainian agreements. Since 2021, Guinea has been under military rule, but under international pressure, the country has committed to transitioning power back to elected civilians by the end of 2024. 6. Mozambique bans the export of unprocessed timber logs. On January 1, 2017, the Mozambican parliament unanimously passed a bill to ban the export of unprocessed timber logs from the country. This measure was seen as a necessary step to protect Mozambique's valuable hardwood forests. The new law allows for the export of semi-processed timber, such as beams, planks, and parquet, but it subjects them to an export tax. However, there will be no tax imposed on the export of finished wooden goods, including furniture. The primary objective of this.
Yes, College Genesis. That's
Yeah,
yeah. We don't have to
yeah,
play the whole thing out. You know, we
yeah.
get the
We got the
picture.
gist of it. We got the gist of it. See, the whole thing is, if you haven't picked this up, Bomani, is that all these companies that they said ban the export, these aren't local indigenous companies. These are all foreign companies who the government pay the government fees and everything. Because you know what, if they produce all this raw materials and everything, why are they so poor? Now here's the thing: if the African countries were actually mining all this stuff, they could still export the stuff in this raw material and making the money, but they're not. You know, if these were like Ghanaian companies, if Ghanaians were basically the ones mining the gold and exporting the gold, they would be making real money. You know, but these are foreign companies that export. Africa exports nothing. You know, they said we're going to ban the export, right? That means you're going to ban foreign companies from exporting, right? And they said you got to process it. So you're asking the foreign companies to come back in and add value to it. You know, there was nothing in this article that said we're going to be building African industries and building Black African infrastructure to process this and, on a scale. So on the whole, it looks like Africa's making progress. No, no, it's not the case. You're still dealing with foreign companies, right? Who got to come back in and process the lithium, process all the stuff like that, and add value to it, and then export it. You're not Africans are not exporting it themselves. They're not making the stuff themselves. So that's what we're trying to talk about, tonight. It's all semantical, and people don't even understand. Somebody Burns said foreign companies pay off correct. Yeah, of course. It's right out in the open now. The foreign companies come in, right, and they play in Africa. They're playing this game because they know we're watching. Oh, we're gonna make them export. It's all a dog and pony show. Don't believe any of this. Don't join the ship of fools and whatnot. There's no Africa rising. It's a lie. Until we have a real revolution in Africa, it's not happening. Because long as they can basically give off an envelope or a suitcase full of money to some African politician, that's how it's going to be. There's no black African companies because but get this: if you have a company, if let's say Niger, or we say, oh look, or uranium being exported, all those trucks and excavators, you think the Nigerians own that? No, those are foreign companies that own that machinery. You know, they're not. There's no Africa does not, no African country exports any minerals to somebody else's foreign market. It doesn't work like that. It's a foreign company that's in there. They call it export. No, let's call it what it is. It's called extraction. Extraction. You know, an export is when you have a company and you're exporting something from your port to their port and everything, and you're basically flooding into their market. That's export. And you basically when the bill of what they call the bill of lading, when the letter of credit and the shipping manifest documents hit the ports and everything, and the banking hits the banks and whatnot. The banks go to the shipping documents, right? Whatever's on the ship goes to the bank, right? When the bank processes all the stuff like that, and the money is being who's banking everything, and then the money gets released and everything. After then, the stuff gets unloaded off the ship. That's how it works, right? And then there is a trade balance or imbalance or whatever like that. But that's not happening in black countries. There's no African countries that basically ship anything to any foreign ports, right? Where they have shipping documents and say, okay, this whole ship container fleet is like $30 million pay up. That's how countries get rich and countries dominate. But Africa, what you see in Africa is foreign companies are basically taking this stuff in its raw form and bringing it back to their countries and everything like that. A lot of times duty free, you know, and they pay the African governments a pittance for what they think. Kyle, last week you said African organizations so image, so 50 plus years that you applied that Africa legal so culture, power, imagery. How do we see it? Cultural power, imagery. What went wrong? Can you dive into the subject? I said that. I said Africa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's imagery is everything. Your image is everything. If people, what people, how people perceives you. How people perceive you is how it's you're going to end up. Especially if the person that perceives you have power. Image is everything. Especially if we don't have power. Black people have been trying to change their image instead of changing their position of power in the world. And we got the image thing. But the thing is, though, if people still want to see the black race is weak and incapable, it doesn't matter what our image is. That's just the honest to God truth. I hate to hurt people's feelings on that, but that's the honest to God truth. That's just the honest to God truth. But we can't. We got to get off the Pan African ship of fools. We got to understand what is progress, what is making it, and what is not. You know, this little petty move of we need to add value to and add value. That should have been this conversation should have been happened 50 years ago. Right now, you should have African company. You sell most of the law. Africa should be dominating the global furniture industry, not foreign companies. Not Gabon telling foreign companies you better start making furniture or whatever like this. No, it should Africans themselves who are making furniture and making design. When I was in Liberia, I had my furniture set made by Liberian craftsmen. I had a bed set made, I had a whole furniture living room set made and whatnot. I said to myself, man, I saw the potential. I said, yeah, man, Liberians. I was saying, my wife, last time I was there, I had her bed made. They said, hey, pick out your wood and everything like that. They had that bed made in 2 days. They cut the frame out. I said, man, this is what I'm talking about. And all throughout Liberia, what you see is lumber yards being processed as the furniture. The Liberians have a well-developed furniture industry where beds and dressers and cupboards are made and everything. People go to get them. And you don't see any lumber or whatnot being exported. It's being carved up and made into different things. Now, I would love to see the Liberians get into the export because they got nice furniture. The way they make beds, they can compete on the international market, and that's what we need. Not foreign companies coming here, doing what they want to do. doing everything what they want to do and stuff like this. We need Black African infrastructure. We need industries. If we're not gonna do that, we're not. Then we're just joining the ship of fools. You know. So what else could I tell y'all, folks? Varney, Judge Comro, exactly. The brown envelope. Yeah, here it is the white envelope. Yeah, a little what they use brown envelopes in Africa. You know, here we use white envelopes. That white envelope full of cash or whatnot. Man, they'll sell you their mother, their grandmother, and throw some aunties on top of that. You know, that's what it is, man. Nothing's changed in 40 years. Europeans come to Africa, they want bodies. Hey, they got it. They wanted gold, they got it. So now all we're doing is the same thing, facilitating. And what gets me is when I used to think it was a big thing. I had one guy, George, he was a Nigerian guy, right? And me and him had fallen out because he was like a Nuwapian, right? He was a Nuwapian guy. And he was like, basically, we had a really falling out over that shit. I said, look, you're Igbo. Why you into that stupid stuff? So we had a falling out over that shit. Because he was on to Dr. Malachi York and all kind of shit like that, right? And I said, and he was a facilitator. Everybody's like, yo, Colin, he's a facilitator. I said, oh, yeah. What does he facilitate? He facilitates the looting and whatever needs to be got in Nigeria. He hooks people up. He plugs people together. He's a facilitator. And all we have is like 400 years of facilitators, you know, facilitating the looting and the robbing and the exploitation of Africa. So I'll say, so I'm not really fond of the African facilitator, because yeah, if we're still going on the same pattern that brought us millions of people in misery, the transatlantic slave trade and colonialism, it's time for us to change course. These facilitators, what are they doing? They're brokering deals. It looks good, man. People, when you see them on YouTube, they got nice suits on. They may be driving a nice sports car and whatnot. They may have a nice condo in Lagos, Nigeria, but they are facilitators. What are they facilitating? It ain't the facilitating of building Pan Africanism towards nationhood. It ain't about Black African infrastructure. It's facilitating the same old that got us where we are right now, at the bottom. So that's what we're talking about tonight. This is what we're talking about.
Yes, caller, I got a good guess for you. J
All
Lion
right,
Selassie.
all right, okay, take it away, J Lion.
Yeah, I think that a lot of African nations depending way too much on aid and stuff, and I think it was good that some of them are like the aid that was never really helping, and I think that the thing with this alphabet agenda is like, well, we don't want aid. The aid wasn't really happening, and also I think depending on too much the government, like the private sector, needs to be built up because the people depend too much on the government in a lot of these African nations. Well, I think that's some of the problem, and doing manufacturing is another thing. Huh? So yeah, I think that's some of the problem, and too many of the diaspora, right? They come to the West, they don't go back to to their nation and stuff like that. They get caught up, in this stuff. They don't bring their own the skills back to the nation, so it's like a brain drain. So it's a lot of that stuff going on. So, and I think that yeah, some don't be caring about their own nation, stuff like that. So
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Before other brother get on, I want to ask you a question. Yeah, you notice how in that video, if you don't know if you're watching, that when they say we would export, what they don't say is the fact that even when you talk about exporting, those are not African companies that are exporting. You know, it's like how do I describe it? It's like you got foreign companies that are making the money when they export, and if it's paying for like whatever tonnage they're making, whatever, they just okay, pay the African country for for a ton of uranium or whatever mineral they're siphoning out, right? The African countries are saying we want to add value, right? Well, the company that's mining is like, why do we want to do that? That means we got to put add in more cost to what we're trying to do, you know? And so they're like, we're going to ban the export, right? Instead of saying, okay, we're going to nationalize these mining companies, take your seizure property and equipment and everything, and we're going to basically build it. But they don't want to do that. So therefore, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Now you go into these companies, mining companies, and saying add value to the thing. That means they got to come up with more costs. 'Cause remember, so mining is like the lagging thing on the production. You know, when you add value to something, that means you're bringing in industries in there. And most countries in the world, industries just don't want to do business in Africa like that. You know, so in other words, Africans have to do that themselves. They can't rely on foreign companies to come in and be like, yeah, we're gonna basically build industries and add value and all this kind of stuff like this, you know. So but I just think now Africa, and this is our mother continent, and I'm not trying to mock my brothers and sisters on the continent, but and I know they want to do the right thing, but how do you do that when you have a massive brain drain and people are still tethered to Europeans and everything? Africans have a lot of pride. They want to do all these things, build industrialize Africa and everything, but they realize now that it's not really possible because they don't have the brain power, the manpower, and all stuff like this. Because all the stuff Kwame Nkrumah talked about and all the black nationalists of the post World War II generation talked about, they ignored, and now it's coming. Now, like I said, the chickens have come home to roost. They're like, yeah, how can we? How 2022? We're still exporting raw materials, getting pennies. Now we're not even exporting them. We have foreign companies exporting for us and giving us pennies. It'd be different if Africans were mining lithium and selling it. They would be making extra money. Does anybody agree or disagree with that? If it was African mining companies, right? Like those that was tied to the stock exchange and everything, that were actually exporting these minerals, right, to foreign markets themselves, right? There will be some significant amount of cash coming in. You know, cash they could use to develop industries around that. Does anyone see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure, Colin. You're making sense.
Right,
Um, you know, I'll use Liberia as an example because that's where I'm from.
right,
Um, those companies are there and they're influencing the politics. So
right.
when they come in and they're supposed to, for example, in Northwest Liberia, there's a county there that's about an hour and a half from Monrovia, the capital. And, they had there was a lot of mining going on there recently.
Hmm.
Well, deals were made in a way that there was supposed to be in mind, just to, the same thing is happening that we don't want to happen. You got raw materials that are being mined and then just getting shipped out.
Hmm.
But it was even worse than that. There
Mm.
was supposed to be a railroad that was supposed to be refurbished by this company
You talking
in
about the
order.
China taking over the
The
bong mines?
no, not Bung Mines, the Western Cluster in
Okay.
Bumi and Bapalu area.
Oh, Bomani. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Bomani. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So there was an old railroad that used to be used before when there was a mining company, decades ago.
Hmm.
So the money that the company negotiated with the government, they had some kind of agreement that both sides didn't follow
Hmm.
because, from the company standpoint, they don't care about Liberia. That's not their country. They're a
Right.
they're a foreign company. So they're just trying to extract. So it's
Exactly.
left with Liberians to be able to make the sound decision for Liberia to say, no, you can't just extract. We need to do this, and set up some things so that this raw material gets processed by our people. We need to build an industry behind this so that we can build the capacity of our people to benefit from their own resources. But the problem that we have is the leadership in these countries. They're greedy.
Yeah.
They're greedy. They're greedy. Maybe they never had money before.
Yo,
Or-
you know Liberians like I know them, right?
Yeah, you're right. Or maybe they had money before. It doesn't matter. You know, somebody that was rich before and becomes leader doesn't mean necessarily that they won't steal. And it's not always just the leader or maybe even the leader of the problem. Corruption is institutionalized all throughout the government.
Yeah.
So if you're a minister, you leave the US as a Liberian, you say, I want to go home and become a minister in this government. I'm going to straighten this corruption out. You know, people, y'all going to have to do this, and then you set all these rules out. You know what could happen to you? Either you're going to succumb to the to the corruption,
dead,
or you end up dead.
Oh, you know, we can talk all night, brother.
Yeah,
you know what's going on. You know.
So I'm saying these things not to say that it's impossible, but just to kind of lift the veils that these are the realities that we're dealing with. So, you know, we the things that we're saying that we need to do in order to make Africa a better place, I agree 1,000%. But these, we have to figure out these little hurdles in between how we're going to handle this to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
That's
Let
the
me ask you a
challenge.
question. Let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
How you're a Liberian.
Yeah.
You sound like you're from the Vi tribe. Are you a Vi?
No, Gola and Bassa.
You Gola Bassa. Okay,
Right.
everybody's a Bassa. You know.
Yeah.
You
But I've
know.
been
Do you
here.
know?
So
Do you know Pharaoh Vincent? You know,
who?
from Vincent Town. He's in the minister of government. No,
In
he's
in Bomani?
he's good. Yeah, Bomani. Remember Vincent Town, Bomani? You know, Frank.
Okay,
He
the
works with
Vince.
yeah, Vincent.
Yeah, the Vincents in
Vincent.
Liberia are
Yeah,
related
yeah.
to the Kamos.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
my boy right there. I'll talk to him today.
Okay.
He has a nice video of him in the Luna restaurant. I said, I mean,
Okay.
you eat my favorite dish, man, French fries or coleslaw on this big ass fish and whatnot, you know. I
Yeah.
said, yo, but he it was. I said, man, send me that video again, so I want to put it on our page and whatnot, you know.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but you know, the thing is, where people in Black America, right,
Mm-hmm.
is that we get so zealous when it comes to Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't see we. It's like, okay, I get that we love Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the fact that a lot of African Americans love Africa and they want to see, oh yeah, this is Africa rising.
Mm-hmm.
But there's problems, you know.
Yeah, there's
It's
problems.
not all fucking. Excuse me, my language. It's not all the French. It's not
Yeah.
all the British. It's
Right.
not all the Americans. It's not all the Lebanese.
It's
It's
us
that
too.
it's us too.
Yeah, it's
And
us
what we
too.
have is people with big platforms like my good brother, the Phil Scott. They don't talk about that, you know.
Right.
You know, everybody. Oh yeah, the French. See the French. You know, the French. You know, the Mazungos. No, bro.
Yeah. The
You
French are
know,
gonna do for the
but
French. They
they're gonna
French
do what
don't
the
have.
French gonna do.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
French. They're not gonna seek our interests. Why would they seek our interests? That wouldn't make
exactly. You
sense to
know.
them. They're gonna seek their
Absolutely, brother.
interests.
Appreciate both of you brothers. Let me just chime in real quick. Let me just show some love to our brother Marcus Johnson. Appreciate the $25 super chat. He said, "Thank you both for what you do." Liberia 2024. So my
All
good
right.
brother, that's the Liberia flyer. If you're
All
looking
right.
to connect with us, work with us on Liberia, just reach out to me. My number is there. Email me. Let's connect. We're building a stronger group, and yeah, we're gonna make some magical things happen. And our good brother Varney. Before we continue, I
It's
know we didn't get a. Go ahead,
can I just it's pronounced Vani. The R is silent. That's
Varney.
just the way. Yeah, the R is silent. On my first and last name, the R is just silent.
All right, greetings, Vani.
Yeah.
And you said you are originally from Liberia.
Yes.
Perfect. Do you know about this journey that we're doing to Liberia? And
No, I don't.
All right, bro. It's one of those things. Do you know if many people do tours to Liberia?
Not really, but go ahead.
Well, perfect. Well, me and Kala is bringing that energy. Kala is been putting the work in and connecting and networking with Liberia for
Okay.
for a very long time, and so we're working together to bring this journey and bring more of our people from the diaspora to connect to Liberia. So
Wonderful.
if it's something that looks interesting to you, and you know some people, we're always open to talking with you. All you have to do is just give us access to your number, and now I
Okay.
can reach out to you. But I'm not sure of your interests and in Liberia, not because someone is from a country that they have certain interests. Some people, love their country, and some people want to
Hmm.
do a lot more for their country, and some people, more on the laid back side.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
we're
That's
trying to
always the
find
case.
Liberians that want to embrace us coming and bringing, bringing back tourism.
Hmm. Most Liberians that I know here in the community that I'm in here in Indiana, most Liberians are very much, their whole heart is focused on Liberia. And the reason that is because when you come from Africa and you come to the United States, when you come from a different society into a new society, many people have to start, many steps back from where they were. And when they come here, if they can get to where they want to get to, okay, they may get enough finances to be able to do greater things back home. So they get to a certain point and they work and they build up their money in order to do something greater back home. So most of the people that I know have some type of project going on back home. Some people just simply building their homes so they can go back home, because when they came here, they didn't personally have their own house. Now they have a family. So I know several friends that have been on a mission to build back home. Some people are building housing because they realize that housing's a problem in Liberia. So some people build like duplexes and stuff and rent it out. And then they have money to do other things. Some people have family land. Like in my case, my family has property. So my brothers and I decided that we were going to try to do a farm. So that's our project. We put all our time and money and effort into doing a farm because we feel that agriculture is important. There are many times that I was listening to the video that you were playing earlier about things that are happening in Mali, Guinea, and Niger and other parts of the Sahel. We're right next door to Guinea. Okay, we don't grow enough fresh vegetables like we're supposed to locally, so we wait and depend on pepper, bitter ball, those type of crops, onions. Those are the things that we're feeding for from across the border in Guinea. So if Guinea bans those things, then the agriculturalists in Liberia have to have our stuff together to be able to grow our food locally and not have to depend on that. We have to be self-sufficient. So for us, agriculture is extremely important. The rice problem. You get a bag of rice, I don't know if it's $30 by now, if not more, for a bag of rice. A bag of
Do you
rice
know?
from
Do you know
overseas.
Armstrong Jabba? You know Armstrong Jabba? He's producing upcountry rice and whatnot. He's selling price
Yeah,
big bags, right? 50 pound bags
yeah,
for 50 for
yeah, yeah.
$25.
That's
And a Great
fantastic.
African is
Yeah,
he's also making onions, right? Onions is big in Liberia. And Great
good,
African just bought his onion seed. He has onion seed farm too. So
great.
onions is a big thing. Agriculture is big.
It's
Chicken
big.
farming,
Yes,
chicken farm, building chicken coops and
yes.
doing chicken. Look, there's so much opportunity in that country. Is unreal. Just the domestic
Unreal,
market alone,
unreal.
unreal. You can get rich, really get rich in Liberia.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so
So,
there's plenty of opportunity.
Well, excellent, brothers. And on that note, so family, that's the Liberia flag for those who are interested. Let me bring in Zoe Morris. Greetings, family. Welcome to Pan-Africanism towards nationhood. What's on your mind?
Oh yeah, peace. I just wanted to ask one quick question. I was gonna hop off. I heard some people talking about as far as like I guess industrialization and development. Um, I was trying to ask like what level for people where they Pan Africans from Africa from Liberia. what level of industrialization would you want to see on the continent? Because I think, like, as far as like Africa and it, being as beautiful as a lot of the countries are, I don't really think that it should be like a industrialization, because some of the environmental problems and some of the a lot of the undercover environmental problems that you have in industrialized countries, and actual cities going sinking into the ground, and the pollution and all the health related problems. So what level do y'all think would be viable to the people, but also preserve the beautiful
I can
beaches
answer
and
that. I can answer that.
inside?
I can answer that, brother. So that's the whole thing. And I'm glad you asked that question. This is no smite you, because, like I said, I was like you one time 30 years ago, right? Oh, industrialization and all that. Do you know, when you talk about industrialization, when people have industrial zones and everything like that, most of the industries are confined to that industrial area. What you have right now in Africa, right? Because there's no industrialization, right? People tend to use things like burning coal and stuff, like burning wood and stuff like that. It's more of a freaking problem in Africa because it's not industrialized. It's not industrialized. Industrialization will create a centralized manufacturing zone, centralized distribution system, and everything like that, where the people do not have to freaking go out there and fend for themselves every day. For example, whenever we say industrialization, right? Industrial. Let's take something like a lumber mill, right? If you have one lumber mill, right, in a county, right? Let's say we're going to industrialize this county in Liberia, right? And this is, I'm going to use the Sino County because in the 60s and 70s they had a really well developed lumber industry, right? So therefore, when you take the logs, right, instead of exporting the logs, right, the logs are made into billets, pallets, two by fours, everything like that, right? And therefore, the people, right, could build modern housing and all the stuff like that, housing contractors, everything like that. You don't have to export. You can use less lumber, right? Building a modern lumber industry than you would if you took those raw logs and exported them out of the thing. Now, if you don't want to industrialize, right, what you have to do is cut down 10 times as many logs and put them on let a foreign company put them on the ship, and you go overseas and they give you money. But you can basically save money, right? Save money. And then when they get done with that log right there, they're gonna sell you that same furniture and two by fours right back to you. You see how it works? So in other words, basically everything you see in Africa, right? Africans want refrigerators, right? They want stoves, they want cars, they want electricity appliances and everything like that. But because we don't have small scale manufacture like textile, let's see in Liberia, they had a good textile industry, real well developed textile downtown, and
Yeah.
you got textiles and stuff like
Randall
this,
Street.
yeah, I bought some gear there. They got well good tech. Liberia got a furniture industry. That's I will put Liberia furniture industry up against anybody. They can make you some beds and stuff like that. Design. They're taking the lumber and they're manufacturing. That's all industrialization means. Manufacturing. And for domestic use, right? And then the surplus that you have, you export it and trade it to other countries, find buy other countries, and then you add, you do it like this. People have this idea that industrialization is something bad. We have this thing, this movement in England called the Luddite movement, right? The Luddites were people who believed that the Industrial Revolution was a threat to their way of life, the cottage industries, right? Cottage industries. They believed that centralized industries and everything were bad and everything, and so therefore they rebelled against the factories and all stuff like this and everything. But the history has told us, right, that that's the way to go. Centralized industries and everything like that is the way to go to basically give people a higher standard of living and raise the standard of living of people and give people employment and everything like that and be real balance of revenue to the government.
Right. Right.
Now when you talk about industries, it depends on what type of industry you're talking about. You have nuclear industry. Do you understand? Nuclear is the safest, cleanest form of energy there is. It's unpolluted. You can't pollute with nuclear energy.
That's
You
what
know,
Burkina Faso is asking for.
yeah. So nuclear energy, right there, that solves the problem. Hydroelectric industry is
Yeah,
good, right?
yeah.
Power,
There's a lot of
Ethiopia
no.
has
I actually I work in the energy field.
right,
All
right.
right,
So you can tell us.
Kala, before you continue, let me see who Reggie is. Greetings, Reggie. And then make sure I pronounce the name right.
Vani.
Vani.
Yes.
Give me a minute. Let me just introduce Reggie, and then you can just respond to the original
Okay.
explanation. Reggie, welcome to Pan-Africanism towards nationhood. What's on your mind?
A variety of different topics. I mean, like, I've been involved in, I'm sorry, just give me one sec.
All right, Vani, go ahead. We just wait for this brother to get back.
Oh, okay. Thing on infrastructure or industrialization.
Yeah, we're talking about industrialization.
Right. I agree with Kala. Okay. And the reason is based on Liberia. Like here in the US, we're benefiting from industrialization. The things we take for granted. We have they have light in everybody's houses. You can go take a poop, flush the toilet, it disappears. It goes somewhere else into some system that they have. They have everything set up. The roads are set up. When there's a problem,
Yeah, but
all
I'm back.
the
I'm
all
sorry about
the
that.
all the materials and things they're using to make these things that we live by are made by a process of industrialization. Now, what we can do is learn from their mistakes, things that they did to poison their environment, try to avoid that. Try to use more renewable energy, green energy, things of that sort, where we're able to do that. But if you look at what's happening in Africa right now, you have foreign companies coming in, like we started to say. They pay off the government, they start mining that mine, and they're using whatever chemicals they need to extract. And it
Yeah,
ends up in the rivers and in the people. When they drink the water, eat the food, they get contaminated. So we need to take control of the industrialization in Africa. Each country needs to do that and to do it correctly.
did you see in the Congo you have 4-year-old children, hands hurting, picking cobalt mines
Right,
in bags. You know,
right.
I
that's
wanted to
because
speak on that. I wanted to actually touch upon that.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my brother, he works. I'm Congolese, by the way. That's my background. And just to give y'all an intro to my background, I mean, I'm from the East Coast, and I do have a lot of background, within, I guess, North America. So I mean, I do have a lot of family here, but mainly, I mean, my parents are from the Congo. I was born here on the East Coast, raised here. But just to make a point, to support what you were saying, Caligenesis. So my brother, he actually is a partial owner in conjunction with other owners from Europe of a cobalt factory, of a cobalt processing facility in the Congo. And it has made him immensely wealthy. Um, and this question of, like, how do we redistribute the wealth, held by a very tiny sector of different African, the different parts of African society. I mean, that's a question that we're struggling to resolve here in the West as well. How is it that such a small, amount of corporations wield a great deal of the wealth? Over the past 2 years, I guess the most significant amount of stock increase in terms of valuation came from a handful of companies, maybe 4 or 5 on the stock market, right? So, this is a dog eat dog world. That's the bottom line. That, I mean, my point that I'm trying to make is that, he helps me out, my brother. He sends me money. And of course, are Europeans benefiting, from what's occurring? These little black babies, carrying cobalt from the caves to the processing facility. That shit crazy. That shit is not cool. So
Let me ask you a question. Is your brother a facilitator? Is he a facilitator? He brokers deals between the mining people and the people, because it's like what I've seen is the African facilitator, the African mining picker, and then you got the Indian, right? And then he kicks it up to the Chinese, and Chinese takes it back to China. That's what I've seen
I
so
mean,
far.
sometimes he's on the actual grounds of the mine, you know, like he's actually looking at the children carrying up the cobalt. You know, he comes and makes visits to the actual function of how these workers do their job. Like, so he looks at, you know, he's my brother, you know, and is there a lack of ethics? And, you know, is he participating in child slavery? Yes. Do I oppose that? Absolutely. Will I refuse my brother's money when he gives me, you know, like 5 racks every month for nothing? I mean, absolutely not, because like, what? Who the fuck would reject that money? You know, I mean, like calogenesis. You know, just think about it. Like, imagine you had a brother in the Congo that was just raking in that money, and I know it's built off the pain and suffering of black babies, and they're being paid pennies on the dollar, right? But you know, you want you know that new
Me,
page.
per, me
You
personally, me
don't feel
personally, I
bad
wouldn't
about
take
that?
it.
You don't
Me
feel bad
personally, I
about that?
wouldn't take that money. I wouldn't take
Yeah.
that
A
money.
new pair of Jordans, right? Like,
Are
I'm
you
telling
are
you,
you trolling us, bro?
Yeah, I
Are
think
you
no,
he's
trolling
trolling. I
us,
no,
think
bro?
he's trolling.
no,
He's
no,
trolling.
hell
He's
no.
trolling.
I
You
am not
trolling, man.
trolling
You
y'all.
trolling,
I
bro.
am not trolling y'all.
And why are you bringing up Jordans, man? Come on, man.
Yeah,
You
come on,
trolling.
man.
I
He's
like
trolling.
Jordans, man.
Come on, you
No, he's
trolling.
trolling. Yeah, he's trolling. He almost had us.
Hell nah.
Yeah, yeah. You
I
you're
ain't
going there
trolling.
for a
What the
little
fuck?
while.
Why you tell me I'm trolling?
Hey, but Bomani, man, get him off, man. Get him off. Get him
Relax,
off.
brother,
Bomani,
relax.
Bomani, get him off. Get him
Yo,
off. Get him
shut
off.
the fuck up, bitch.
I say, get him off. You know, he was going there for a while, but you
almost,
guys. You
almost having. Yeah, I was
know what I'm
like,
saying? No, I knew it for a while. So I said, my brother in the Congo. Call this nigga lying. I mean, come on, stop. You know. You
Yeah,
know.
I was trying to see how far he's going to go to try to fake all that information when he keep
Yeah,
on.
fake ass.
Yeah, that was yeah, that guy keep on coming on with different accounts, changing his name. Always talking about my brother. That's what you
My
know.
brother. As soon as I say my brother, my brother. Yeah, I know he's fake. Come on. Back to
but
regular
let's
business for
let's if we can get back to the conversation, because I think we're hitting some important points that are critical. You know, there are the realities of what's happening on the ground. So, for example, if um, brothers and sisters from here wanted to do something in Africa, go to a particular country, you would have to study that country and see where the deficiencies are and where the opportunities are. Maybe
hmm
you can come in with equipment, you
Yeah.
know, to help the farmers plow their fields every year so they can have bigger yields,
Yep.
and rent out the machines set up in the counties and in the rural areas of these countries, because the government's not doing that. Nobody's
Exactly.
doing that. So that's an
Track
opportunity.
you have a tractor. Let me tell you something, brother Barney. You
Yeah.
go on Craigslist. I seen a tractor. Matter of fact, right here going towards Emporia one year, I saw a tractor on the side of the road for sale. It was like $6,000. Like, man, $6,000 for a tractor. You cut that thing up, send it over to Africa. I get rich, man.
Yeah.
There's so many tractors for sale here in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Rural areas like people just done with farming or farming. You go to an
Yeah.
auction where farmers went out of business, but we're not organized on that level. If we have ever organized, we could be getting so much equipment onto the continent, man.
Yeah.
Like this, we just have the mindset.
Right. Right.
Tractors are everything. Tractors and bulldozers, man.
Yep.
You can make you a fortune on a continent.
Yep.
That's what all it's about. All it's about modern tractors, modernization.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be scared of modernization.
Right. You need equipment. If you have to clear a field, clear a forest to make a farm, and you have to hire 50 people. When you hire those 50 people to do the work, you have to pay them, feed them, give them drink, give them shelter for maybe
Yeah,
2 or 3 weeks, when you could just get the equipment and clear it in a
clear
weekend.
yourself. Yep,
Yeah.
bulldoze that bad boy, excavate it, whatnot.
Yeah.
Create
Cultivate it,
drainage, create drainage, lay pipes, lay culverts, and everything like that.
everything.
Everything. You get so much about it. That's what development is. Just develop. It's like develop. God damn it, just do it.
Drop
You
tens of
know?
thousands of seed in the cedar, and so you can plant a huge yield. Come on, get a huge yield in
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You
you
know?
got to be serious. You can't be, messing around.
Yeah, like I said, there's plenty of opportunity on the continent. I don't know
Plenty.
about these other African countries, but I do know Liberia. No, I knew though Liberia. There's a huge potential of Liberia being the right. We had the Maserati group of companies back in the '60s and '70s. They was exporting lobster and everything around the world. There's
The
the
seafood, the rivers,
seafood.
the whole coastline. You could have a
A beautiful
fisheries.
country. Plenty of opportunity. Imagine modern marinas. Modern marinas, where people are going out there, and right now they're starting to use motorized craft and everything. What if we say, something, we're gonna build all modernized marinas all along the coast of Liberia, Ghana, and all these countries like that, and and whatever your catch is, you can sell it at any of these marinas. But
Yeah,
man, come on, man, Africa has the richest fishing grounds in the world,
yeah.
you know, so there's so much opportunity, so much opportunity. We just got to take advantage of it. But back to the topic of tonight's show is, being on the right ship of the Pan African movement. The conversations like this are necessary, right? So how everybody seems like they were measured, and brother Vaughn here, and everybody were measured, and what we're talking about and everything. We're not selling people fancy. We're selling them practicality and things that could work and everything. We want to see more of our people do that. But some people will ignore conversations like this and still go off in goofy land. And go out there and make mistakes and everything. Where it's
They get lost in
Africa is doable.
mythology.
Yeah,
Instead of getting the lesson from the mythology, they start melting into the book.
yeah.
And as you're speaking, color, got a comment up here for you. Now,
Oh,
before it
how
gets,
come you haven't done it in college? If you believe what you said, America, look, American citizens can borrow. Okay. So I guess you talked about the thing. It's going to take time. That's our plan, American Holocaust survivor. A Marxist survivor. It's going to take time. It's planning. Nothing happens overnight. I'm not going to jump into something and whatnot, but that is my plan. My plan is to basically facilitate people, whoever want to facilitate, to invest in Liberia. That's a country I know and everything. There's plenty of opportunity. If you bring a tractor over there, and you could have the maintenance on it, you could lend that thing out or whatever. You can make a lot of money. If you have a cement truck, right? If you bought a cement laying truck, one of the trucks that mix cement mixing trucks.
Yeah,
Oh, you make a fortune.
yeah.
You make a friggin' a fortune. Simple things like that. If you had a dump truck, a garbage truck, right? You make a fortune. You know right? Why? Because these are things that's needed. If you had a tractor, a bulldozer, an excavator, you make a fortune because it's always in demand for work.
Yeah, if you had the mechanized way of making concrete blocks for building,
Yeah,
you
you
would
make
make
a
a
fortune.
fortune.
Because it's all about demand, and it's demand for. What I love about Liberia is they're committed to modern living. I've seen people like in the Bossa area and stuff like that, off Painesville, where you can see the influence of the settler class and the Bossa people merged together, where they got this intricate black stone building. You ever seen those, my brother? That stone, Liberian stone. I love that. That's the only place in the world that have that black stone. I love that stone. You know, I love Liberian stone making. How that is just so freaking beautiful. Does any place in Africa, else in Africa, have it like that?
Probably Zimbabwe.
Huh? Oh yeah, they do have the shoulder stones. But they use them to build. But Liberia, you got houses built in those stones and whatnot. They have the intricate cuts in there and everything like that, stone cutting, everything that looks so freaking beautiful. You know. And so I just love the architecture in Africa. Yeah, watch this video. This guy's funny. I don't know what the point of this video was, but I said to the Bomani, I said, let's see what this guy got to say.
lot of y'all have experienced racism, but most of y'all haven't experienced level 9 advanced racism. I'm in a club in Italy walking inside of an elevator. As soon as I step inside, this promoter, she was a woman, puts her full palm on my chest and stiff arms my black ass outside that elevator. And I'm a pretty big guy. You know how much force she had to put in that bitch to throw me out of the elevator? I'm looking inside the elevator and she has the biggest customer service ass smile I've ever seen in my life. Like she was doing my ass a favor. A thing that a lot of people don't realize is that Africans in most European countries are treated like shit. But the thing that she didn't realize was, although I am African, I'm also American. So I did what any American would do, and I put my foot on the elevator, opened that bitch up, and walk right in front of her. Everyone then begins to look up at me like, this monkey's bigger than I thought. She immediately begins to look down, continuing her customer service smile, and I begin to cuss her out. And I'm talking really cuss her out, like saying shit I ain't never said before. Like, do you know where I'm from? Did you put your hands on me? As soon as they heard that accent, that American accent, shit flips. Her coworker loses his shit. Hey, what floor did you want to go to? I said, hey, shut up your mouth. I'm not speaking to you right now. Push 3. All of a sudden, this random man steps from the crowd and says, that is not us. That is not Italia. Everybody started talking about, that's not Italia. That's not Italia. That's not Italia. Ooh, that shit had me hyped. I felt like Rosa Parks in that bitch. A lot of y'all have
That's funny.
Yeah, one of those moments, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Few and far between.
Yeah, what he said about Italy is true. Italy is racism, other.
Yeah.
But that's why. But that's why they birth rate is so low.
Why do
Rate.
black people go there?
I
I don't
don't know.
understand it. And my
Oh,
family
because
goes there. They go to Rome and whatnot, but black people, like, I mean, cut you off, Mark. I mean,
Yeah, I
Jay,
mean,
like,
but I mean, brother, I mean, don't cut him off. Let him talk because
okay,
oh
yeah.
yeah. I
it's
mean,
like,
because a lot of people
yeah,
are
let
obsessed
him
with.
finish what you're saying.
They have a colonized mind. People are obsessed with Europe and everything, all that type of nonsense. So I think that's what it is, and I think that yeah, man, it's pretty that's what bad out there. I heard, but I think that I think their birth rate is like on the same level of Japan. That's the thing. I think it's like they went out like 6 months without having like a single birth, man. So it's like their society is just falling apart, man. And like so it's just it's on its way down. So it's like next is going to be America is going to be on it that same train and stuff like that because it's
South
on
Korea
like
too.
yeah. And so I think it's going to be like a domino effect and stuff like that, So and I think that it's because then if you don't have enough young people in the economy, right? The economy is gonna fall. Then you have a whole bunch of aging people, right? That's aging. They you're not gonna be able to afford to take care of some of these other people. Then you don't have enough people that's in the colleges and stuff like that. So it's gonna create a lot of problems. So and I think that yeah, so I think it is on its way out. And like and I think that the radical, this white liberal radical feminism has not worked in society. It's failing. So you have like just the society is just is falling down, man. So and I think that it's gonna like break down internally. So and I think that yeah, man, it's I mean the next 20 years, man, you're gonna see a lot of major changes happen. It's gonna move real quick, man. It's gonna move real fast, huh?
Well, the thing about Africa is they got the one thing Africa disobeyed the West is the West said, okay, the only thing you have to do is keep your population down. You know, they gave Japan, they fought with Japan and Asia, as far as industry and everything. Japan won with the car industry. China came up and everything like that. And the Nixon administration opened up trade and everything. The only part of the world where they said, look, the only thing we need to do for you, Africa, is to keep your population down. That's it. We don't want no more to keep your birth rates down. That's Henry Kissinger said that. The only thing Africans need to do is keep their part. That's if you want aid and everything. All right, we got you. We'll give you enough aid to survive and keep things go. Keep the lights on. But keep your population down. Africa didn't obey that, and now you have a large number of exploding population of young people and everything. I would say what they say, like 60% of the population in Africa under the age of 20, something like that. That's good. Those are good numbers as far as nation building. But you have to provide opportunity for these youth. It's a double-edged sword. If you have young people out there in their 20s and everything, going to school and making a life for themselves and everything like that, Africa could have a chance to compete against the West. But what you
Oh
have
yeah,
as the
yeah,
West
yeah.
is, where you have the West is they're basically siphoning it off the brain drain of Africa, right? They're seeing Africa as a producer, so they're saying, something, maybe the Netherlands, maybe we don't need to be all white. Maybe Germany could have a little bit of color. They learned to adjust themselves to get rid of racism to benefit. A lot of Africans think that, and people of color believe that, multiculturalism is going to benefit them. No, it doesn't. White people still going to be in charge of these countries, right? But they're going to have, they're going to benefit from your birth rate and your ingenuity and what you produce.
Yeah, yep.
You're gonna be glorified Black Americans in Europe, where wherever we produce and everything, white people benefit from in America. So
Mm.
I'm not with all this globalism stuff, this multiculturalism and this left wing and this all this stuff like this because
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, 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 yeah. And even the white people don't buy into that multi culturalism and stuff. That's like some of the biggest BS that's on
you
that
know
that exists. They don't even buy into it because with them is like either you get with this European Western society or you get out there and stuff like that. So they're
Did you
not
see? Do you see
Re-
that video
they're
that's floating around, line? That video's floating around where a guy, the British now saying we're going to be a minority in our own country and everything like that. Did some we should have seen this years ago. We should have seen this decades ago, right? When this was first. And this one white guy was like, well, because these far-sighted, egg-headed, super smart white people and whatnot think they know everything. He told the guy, well, they're technically British. He said, no, they're not a British, right? But they got British passports. The guy said that don't make you a British, right? Well, they got a passport. So, and I'm saying to myself, does a passport make you part of that country? I don't believe so. That's why I think we should tread carefully with this passport thing. Me personally, man, I'm African American. I love Liberia, but I believe a Liberian is a Liberian, right? Whether it's a Congo person, Fossil person, whatever like that.
Give up
I
your passport, Carla.
Huh?
Give up your passport, Carla. Liberia's stable.
Yeah, no, I can't do that, bro. I can't do that. No, I can't do that right now. But the bottom line is, I love the fact that I can go to Liberia with my U.S. passport, right? Get everything I want done there, do whatever I want done, enjoy the country, invest in everything like that, right? Then maybe one day, right, when I'm ready to say, hey, look, I'm done with America. I want to go all in, But what I'm saying is people basically will tell people that okay, I'm a Liberian like you. I would never go to a Liberia on the ground, right? And they live in the Liberian experience right now. They Liberians on edge about who's going to rule their country for next 6 years. I'm not subjected to that. You know, I'm comfortable here in America. Even Liberian Americans aren't really subjected to that. I don't know how Var, how do you feel about this? I think, I'm split. I don't know who to support. Some of my friends are going over to where, some people are going to Buckeye and
Yeah,
whatnot. I'm just staying. As a black person in America, I'm just staying out of it.
I
So,
think
what's your opinion?
I prefer boycott between the two of them. Then we have
Right.
we has been the one that's been president for the last 6 years.
But what do you
Uh,
think about the Ure girl, Tilia Ure?
uh-huh.
She's now endorsing Where. I'm shocked. And then Henry
But
Costa just got back in the country
right, right.
after he called Ware every name in the book,
I
and he's
know.
taking pictures of Ware. Where?
Uh,
What the
yeah,
hell's going on?
politics is
But yeah, give him a chance to break down. You're about to break down the difference between
Okay.
where and also Bokai.
boycott. Well, what I was gonna say is Weah is the incumbent. He's the current president, and he's been president for the last 6 years. Weah, he was famous as a international soccer player for Liberia during the wartime. The people in Liberia looked up to him as a hero because when all the negative things were happening in Liberia with the war, he was somebody that was on the international scene in a positive light, even though he was an athlete. So when everything concluded, the war finished and everything, and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was president, when her term was done, she endorsed Weah. And that's, with his popularity and that endorsement, that's how he got there. People wanted somebody new, somebody young. Obama had been president on this side, so people were thinking, this will be our Obama. George Weah, he loves the country, he has money, there's no way he would steal. But when you're dealing with government in Liberia, it's not about necessarily the individual, unless they have a strong spirit like Rawlings or something like that. But if they can't command that type of integrity in the government on all levels, all ministries, it'll be the same crap every time. It'll be the same crap every time. So the only hope we have, we know that George Weah can't perform because of what he's done for the last 6 years. So we're hoping that with Boycott, at least he's a veteran, but we're not looking at just him alone. We're looking at all the support team that's with him in the country on his, his second in command or his soon to be second in command if he wins, and all the other politicians that seem to be sensible that are supporting him for sensible reasons. Those who started out being in opposition against Weah, you can't say that the person is doing extrajudicial killings and doing all this stuff in the country, and then because you don't get picked by Boycott to be vice president, then all of a sudden you flip back over to the person you said was a killer. So that tells me that it was all about the individual, those people that flip like that. Because not everybody's going to get picked to be the VP. Some people are going to have to not get picked. But if you can't handle that, then you flip over. And that's what's happening right now in Liberia. So,
You really
yeah.
said you really think Henry Costa he was actually serious about being VP? That was he was serious?
Yeah, I think he was serious. I think he was
This
serious.
guy couldn't even get elected in his own district in there,
Yeah,
He couldn't
yeah,
get any votes during that. Despite having a number one radio show in the country, he couldn't get
yeah.
nobody to vote for him.
Hey, George Weah became president.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I don't know. We hope for the best, man. That's why I said we gotta build Liberia's private sector up.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
only way, man. Build the private sector up and just ignore the government. A good thing about Liberia is they still have the centralized government. They have each county has superintendents. They're not elected, right? Can you imagine what that? I didn't think about this. Can you imagine with all the partisanism, if those political parties got hold to legitimate counties and legislatures and all stuff like that, the country will fall apart. So it's good that they have a superintendent and everything. I think that the way they correct because I don't think Liberia is ready for that decentral. I think Nimba is. I think
yeah.
Nimba can run its own administration.
Yeah,
And maybe Monserrato.
Nimba, Montserrado. I mean, there are some other counties that do well, but if the central government doesn't have the infrastructure in place, these basic things that need to be there for the people to function, you know,
Yeah,
it's just they're just not doing the job. I mean, it's not like it's an easy job to do in 6 years, but more progress could have been made.
yeah,
Funds that were supposed to go for certain things and dispersed to counties. In a lot of cases, those things were dispersed to individuals, partisans,
yeah.
and they were supposed to do what the thing was supposed to do. and there's no accountability.
Yeah, the
So that
medical
kind of
centers,
yeah,
the
just
medical
loose.
centers and
Yeah,
everything
everything's
not getting
just
having equipment and
yeah,
stuff like that, in the rural areas that even though the money was allotted
yeah.
by the U.S. taxpayers.
Right, right,
U.S. taxpayer dollar was supposed to fund EKG machines and scan, all stuff like this, but the
yeah,
money was never got to rural areas, to
right,
local clinics and everything.
right.
It's like they're mismanaging money out in the open. And
Out in the open. In a lot of
you know,
cases, some of that money that's stolen ends up being used for campaigning. So they'll turn
yeah,
around and give the same money they stole that was supposed to do stuff, and then show up on the scene and dash a whole village with, a good time, and pay off certain elders with a little bit, a few
hmm
$1,000 to make
yeah,
sure that the people vote in the right way for them. That's what happens.
yeah. Exactly what happens all over the continent.
Yeah.
Somebody say, Sir Toyo Go said, "What's up? JT Figure got arrested. We know any more about this? JT the Bigger Figure got arrested. Is it all for what happened in Kenya? I'd like to know about that. I didn't hear nothing about anything about that. You know, you know, his group made off with $10 million of people's money. Selling a ship of fools. And you guys laugh, man, but it's not funny. How you guy come out of nowhere, a rapper, went to Burkina Faso, then go to Kenya, right? And they got all these people out there, yeah, buy land and whatnot. What's this with this land stuff in Africa? Buy land, buy land. We have to take that own land. No, how about having real estate? How about development? And so how about investing in a plan? All the money that's been wasted in Africa, and you'll see one factory built. You know, Not one factory built, not one factory, not one processing plant that we say, not one baby milk making factory, whatever like that. But everybody wants to buy land, and everything by these grifters that keep selling land to people and with
They want to buy
these
land
schemes.
and they want to buy land and build compounds.
Yeah, we got enough land and compounds. We need factories. We need industries. That's what we need. We need industrial parks. We need people that build industrial parks that can build power plants. Factories and warehousing. Stuff like cold storage. You know what I'm talking about, Barney, right? Cold storage. And it's not that hard. Cold storage.
Exactly. If you got
Refrigeration.
if you got
Fridge,
cold storage, you can make a fortune.
you can make a fortune. All these things we say, man. I went there for the first time. I said, okay, this is what we need. This is what we need. And you see, and there's so many abandoned and vacant buildings in Liberia. It can be done, But people want to build their dream house, man.
If you wanna do garbage and sanitation, you will make
Oh man, I
a
got a
mega
partner of
fortune.
mine. I got a partner of mine that he has his business. So I'm gonna tell him, I said, I don't know how, bro. I'm gonna help you do it. He has his business plan out and everything like that. I said, I'll help him do it. And somehow, some way, we're gonna get a garbage dump truck to Liberia. With help him out with his business. Right? These are the type of things help we need. People want
Yeah.
to join this movement and stuff like that. Yeah, we need some garbage trucks. That
Yeah.
we could do the stuff we could do.
It doesn't sound sexy, we're not it doesn't sound like we're coming over the mountain with the flag, the iconic scene or whatever. It's just practical
It is
stuff.
practicality, man. This brother
Yeah.
right here, Varn, is the practicality. I hope you join the BAIO, man. Join the social network, man, and get in touch with our Liberia chapter.
Okay. Yeah.
And join the BAIO. I
Okay.
can't put the information in, but Bomani can probably do it for you. Join the
Okay.
social network. Download the app.
Yeah. Yeah.
Join our Liberia. We have several different Liberia groups in there. Everything
Okay.
we're plugged into people on the ground and everything like that.
Yeah.
And join the Africa for Africans group and tell people, African American, whoever, like, yeah, we're going to Liberia this year. So if they want to be down with this tour, it's very affordable,
Hmm.
stuff like that, So it's,
Okay.
we're doing all this stuff like this, We're trying to get everybody situated, we're building this momentum to Liberia, and nothing's stopping us. We got this person called American Holocaust survivor. They're here every weekend and whatnot. But the bottom line is, I wish you would just wish us some luck because we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. I want to know more about the JT the Bigger Figure thing. You know, I wish the person could put an article or something like this. You scare people, it'll come back to you. JT messed up himself up. And it works like absolutely no controversy. Yeah. Yeah, but mine does do things the right way. That's why we rock with him, you know. JT and figure. I just think you know what it is this. What work in America won't work in Africa. One thing you don't do unless, and also, tell me about my Ron, right? You can't listen to everything you see an African minister. I talked to the minister of such man. That's just like talking to Ned the Wino around the corner. We go to Africa. I talked to minister such and such. I had to, yo, what the hell mean shit, man? That nigga hungry. Yeah, we go there. Like, yo, why don't you just go to Harlem and talk to Ned the Wino and shit, That's about the same thing. I got a minister such and such, yeah, and they get these important people, and then everything just falls apart, and
Everybody's on the hustle. Everybody's on the
everybody's on the
hustle.
hustle, everybody's on the take.
Yeah.
Everything's for the take and whatnot, Africa is a hustle capital. Like, I thought black to America, I thought we learned hustling. We came to America. No, man, that shit was in us when we bred us in Africa and whatnot. And Africa is a hustle continent, man. Motherfuckers think they got, you ain't got shit on Africans, man. I tell bro all the time, man, y'all think y'all got your hustle on? Yo, okay, all right. They have this idea of the Africa business coming to America, Prince of Key. No, nigga, you know.
Did you have a good experience coming through the airport, Colin?
I did. I was expecting the worst, but I did all right.
How'd you
I just
make
kept my
it?
mouth shut. I kept my mouth shut. I know not to fuck with these people, until I got through the clearance and everything. I got my
You
bag.
know,
I didn't say nothing.
the sad secret to get through there, Colin.
Yeah,
When you see some white people online, just go stand
yeah.
close to them.
Oh,
Because when
I
you
did
get
just
when you
that.
get when you get to the gate, they don't want to do any corruption stuff in front of those white
It
people.
takes out when I see white people there and whatnot, I stick right close to them whatnot. I was both times I was running back to white people. I was like, and I made sure I heard my American accent. Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
It sounds bad, but if there anybody that goes to Liberia, you'll come on the show and laugh about it the same way. You'll know what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Bottom line is you gotta know what you gotta do and whatnot, man. I don't say nothing, man. The first time I had to take a COVID test, they already knew. They said they when in Brussels, right? They had you had to show them $75.
Yeah,
Tell me how messed up that is.
yeah,
You had
yeah.
to show them $75 cash,
Right.
right? Why? Because when you got to Liberia, right?
Hmm.
They were not gonna let you in the country unless you took that
Unless you took it.
mandatory COVID.
Right.
I already had my COVID shots and everything. They didn't
Yeah, you
care.
still had to take
You
the test.
you had to take that test $75, man. I was all right. That
And
was my
even
first time. Yeah, whatever.
and
It
e-
was what it was.
even coming
Yeah.
back, even coming back.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man. That was a nightmare, bro.
Now I'll tell
That
you,
was a nightmare because what happened was I was partying one night when I had the flight schedule mixed up, right? And I had the flight schedule mixed up, right? And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be here another month, right?" The girl said, "Oh, your flight left already." And I said, "What about my COVID shots?" And I said, the manager, the owner of the pharmacist said, "Yo, you know how it is, Liberia, man. Go talk to him." And I did just that. I went over
mm,
there. Well, I ain't gonna say nothing. I did something. Let me stop.
stop,
Let me
Colin,
stop.
stop, stop.
Let me stop.
You're going
Before I
back
get
to
in trouble
Liberia,
over
Colin.
here.
You really don't know who's listening. You're going back to
Yeah,
Liberia.
that's what I'm saying. Let me
They
stop.
will, they
Yeah.
will catch you in the airport.
Yeah. Well, you did what? You said you did what? Oh man, that was messed up though, bro. I was like, yo, but you gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's Africa, man. You gotta do what the hell
Yeah,
you gotta do, man. That
definitely.
COVID thing was like a money show, man. That was a
Yeah,
money show.
yeah,
And that was a money show, So, but Liberia's a beautiful country. We love it. So we hope it's all we got to tell you the truth, man. To be honest with you, if Liberia falls, we all fall. I really mean that. If Liberia falls, you can forget Pan Africa. The whole Pan African ship is going to sink. And 200 something years of history is going to go down the tube. That's why we just got to do what we got to do. I appreciate the black people in America who are getting involved in Ghana and Liberia and stuff like that, and who are not over promising and not like this. We're just basically taking an interest. Even the fact that more and more people are going to the library. G-Star, he ordered like several different books on Liberia, right? And learning about the history of the country and learning about this, learning about different groups in the country, learning of different tribes and the history of the different people and everything, the great history of all the peoples in Liberia and all the peoples in West Africa. That's really, really progress, man. Because 20, 30 years ago, nobody, Africa was just one continent and everybody was just one group. I'm gonna go learn African tomorrow. Well, there's different tribes, there's different countries, there's different language. Which one? We've come a long ways, man. We've come a long ways in this movement. We've come a long ways, and so in many ways, I'm proud of Black America. But this person, American Black Holocaust survivor, right? I'm not a Pan African, but if I want to invest, I would not be invest because men Africans Pan African won't give to the blind. Okay, I agree with that. Oh, she said something good. You know, yeah, like I said, Bomani should be the go-to guy, man. As far as like the Pan African world stuff like that. Bomani should have been getting that JT the bigger figure money. You know, he should be getting that JT the bigger figure money. Hundreds of millions of dollars flowing in. Everything. You got a rapper comes out of nowhere and whatnot. Goes to Kenya. Everybody just join the ship of fools. And everything. Like it doesn't matter. So I lost money with JT the bigger figure. I still ain't fucking with Bomani and Kala. That's what many people think. You know, I'm sitting here in America. I call myself a Pan Africanist. I want to get to the continent, but I ain't fucking with Bomani and Kala. Fuck them, man. That's the mentality we're dealing with. You know, that is the mentality we're dealing with. So, where's Mufasa at, man? How he don't get on? Mufasa, call in, man. Don't be a stranger. Let's see what he has to add to the conversation. You know, you know. So,
Well, I'm kind of interested in. Brother Carla, me and you've been kind of going back and forth on certain things, but I'm
right.
just thinking the other two brothers on, Brother Bomani and the other brother. What are your thoughts on what we've been saying?
Brother Jay Lion. Jay Lion, you there?
We just
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
talk with
here.
ourselves? Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, what do you think about what we were just saying? But,
All right. Yeah, I think that as far as like I think I don't know that much about Liberia that much. I know a little bit, but yeah, but what I was going to say that I think as far as the government, I think it needs to be some type of they had the Arab Spring. It needs to be like a African Spring or something like in a lot of these countries, huh? A lot of African nations, huh? Against these governments.
but let me ask you a question about that, right? Now, in theory, I agree. But the thing is, though, if you have a situation where, and listen, the Arab world, right, has a difference, right? The Arab world, for the most part, right, you have a huge educated class. You have a middle class, you have an educated class, you have people doing many different things and everything. You have people that run businesses, run firms, everything like that. In African countries, you don't really have that. You cannot have a situation where your infrastructure and everything is run by foreign companies and there's no real stake. The people don't really have a stake in their own country, right? Where they could justify an Arab Spring or African Spring. When it comes down to the point where you see a country of African countries where you see ownership, African governments have made sure that the people are completely dependent on them. There's no ownership in African countries for the most part of the people, the economy, the industries and everything. So that's a problem. So therefore, when you look at a society, if you have business people, the business community gets together with the local people, the laymen, everything. Yeah, you can have a revolution. Look at most revolution, how most revolutions start, right? It starts with the gentry, the gentleman society, the elite, the people, the aristocrats, and everything. And what they do, they take their message to the masses, the warrior classes, the working classes, everything. Say, look, join us and whatnot, and we'll all benefit. That has never happened in the black world society. Why? Because one, we really don't have any elite. We don't have any black elite or anything like that. When I say elite, I mean people who own the banks, the industries, and all these things like that, the captains of industries and everything like that, right? When they join forces with the people who are the candlestick makers, the plumbers, everything, yeah, you have a nation now. But we don't have that in Africa. You can't have all the whole entire nation being at the bottom, being poor, and have a revolution. Don't work like that. The revolution start on the top, right? And the message is given to the at the bottom. Anytime you don't have that situation, you don't have a real revolution. So look at any other revolution, like Cuba. Look, Fidel Castro and his revolution, right? He was a lawyer. He was a lawyer. He even though say what you want about Fidel Castro, he knew he was very politically astute, and he was able to convince the large numbers of poor against the Bastista, and it worked against the corrupt Bastista regime. You know, so you don't. You have to have that. You have to have those people up on top. The educated and the like that too, because people have to have confidence in what their revolution is. Who the revolutionary is, right? Now, let me give you an example. Julius Malema. I'm sorry, but the majority of black people are not really feeling him like that. Although he talks a good game of the economic freedom fighters and everything, he gains some traction. But when it really comes down to it, they know, most black people in South Africa know that the life they have, the comfortable life they have, if somebody with Julius Malema gets some power, that's all going to go away.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
just to add to that, we see stuff, on the news, on YouTube, this region is having, the Orange Revolution, the Arab Revolution, all these different names. Doesn't mean that we're going to be in some type of a catchy trend if there's not
right?
really anything going on the ground. It's just not going to happen for us just because it's happening for somebody else.
Exactly.
Because you have to look at what's been happening in African countries, each African country. Go study each African country. What's been happening since colonialism? What happened after colonialism, each country, the people that came into power, how did they get there? Who put them there? Then you will see
Exactly.
the pattern that all that happened was the colonial powers just stepped away a little bit just
hmm
to put a local person in charge that they can control. So
Yeah,
obviously,
Mobutu Sese Seko.
right. So obviously, if that's the case, then that group that's in charge is not going to be capable of lifting the
Yeah,
country to what it really needs to be, because that's going to be in contrast to the foreign power that's extracting.
right.
So, but if we wait for the ultimate thing to happen, the Messiah leadership to come to power, that's what we'll wait for another 10,000 years.
Yeah,
We got to get in there on the ground and start building the society brick by brick. That's what we need to
exactly.
be doing.
Yeah, build the infrastructure. Once we
Right.
control the infrastructure and everything like that, like you said, the go outside the meek shall inherit the earth. We'll inherit that because the bottom line is that you waiting for some other Messiah in a matter of time before they get to him too. When we build a society where we're concerned, where we have farmers and we have industrialists, we have all these people working together in an ordinary society. Look at how America was founded. America from the West, right? People went to places like Missouri, Kansas with nothing in their pockets, right? And it's magical now. Because everybody you see now that's real rich and famous and everything. You see, here we go these places where we see these old white men, the portraits, they got the painting on the wall, whatnot. You're saying, wow, this is the founder of such and such. You're like godlike figure. You see these painting on there. You don't realize these people came from nothing at one time. But they had a society organized, well, what they would want to protect what they built, right? And they got other people to buy into what they were talking about. You wanted people to come to Missouri. Well, now you got, well, okay, we offer you land, we offer you this. It's a social contract. But then, like I said, if you look at it, really look at it, right? A lot of the corporations out of Wall Street tried to take over a lot of sections of the territory in the West and everything. And a lot of the people that these land barons and stuff like that, then they fought back. There was actually almost another civil war in the expansion in the West, in the West and between the cattle raisers, the sheep raisers, the ranchers, and all stuff like this. There were many wars, where banks and everything claimed large swaths of territory that people went in there and farmed and everything, dug the land up and everything. And come to find out, your land is owned by some Wall Street bank halfway across the country and everything. So they went to war, they went to war and they formed their own associations and everything. And that's what history is made, you know we have to do the same thing. We can't rely on an elite people or Messiah to come and rescue us. We have to basically do the work on the ground, and it has to come to the point where we have to start relying on each other on the social level, building
I mean,
strong communities wherever we are.
yeah, I agree, and I think too many black folks on the global scale depend way too much on the West. Coming here to the West to get educated and looking at this. Um, oh, if I go here, I'm gonna be saved and stuff. Looking instead of building up for yourself. And I think this dependency mindset of this Afro-European mindset, thinking that somebody from the outside is going to help you. If you can't help yourself, if you can't build within your own race or whatever, then ain't nobody gonna respect you. Was it the same way with John Henry? We call it John Henry Clark said, Africa, have no friends. Huh? So it's kind of like yeah. So and I think that that's the thing. What I'm saying. What I'm saying, you can't wait for all these other people, and I think that same way with like a lot of this stuff, even with the tribal stuff and problems and stuff like that, a lot of the government manipulate those ethnic tensions and stuff like that. They use that as an advantage, right? And
Hmm.
basically you see yourself like, oh well, I'm this from this tribe, I'm from this dog. Well, okay, if you're Ghanaian, you're Nigerian, you're Ethiopian or whatever, you South, African, whatever, or something like that. You think nobody else cares about tribe, what tribe you from, except Africa, except black folks. Huh? We don't have
Hmm.
people that care about that. You don't hear about Europeans saying, "Oh well, I'm from this European ethnic group," or what I'm saying. Nobody gives a hell about none of that, huh? And that's another thing that holds Africa back, right? You know what I'm saying? No,
Yeah,
nobody's gonna be like,
it's all
"Oh,
about
Yeah,
power.
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
no."
there's
When you come out, when you come to what Europe, or we go, these people, they're not saying, "Oh, you're Yoruba, I'm a Romo." Oh, you don't, no, they what they gonna, no, they, you know what I'm saying? Or they gonna say that? No, they say, "Oh, I just did this." You know what I'm saying? So, and that type of way of thinking is very primitive, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That type of
not
mold.
necessarily, not necessarily.
You know what I'm saying? Because well, you know what I'm saying? It's not being productive.
Well,
So my
let me
thing is,
just let me just say this. Let me just say this. I hear where you're coming from.
it's not being
Tribalism,
productive. Tell me how
tribalism.
has this been productive of the history, of the years of Africa, the centuries of Africa? How is
Okay,
this stuff being
here's the
productive?
reality. Here's the reality, brother. Here's the reality.
Make
Okay.
a difference if it's a rally. Now, if it's not,
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
it's
but
not
one
working.
guy talk.
I'm getting
Uh,
ready to tell you what
All
my
right, man.
opinion is. Okay.
okay, yeah,
It's
Here's
not
the
working.
yeah.
reality I see. Okay. We can say that, let's not look at any tribes. Okay. Those tribes are not just names like gangs or something. Okay, those are people that maybe migrated together from a different region over time. They held together, they have a history together, they have a culture together that's unique to them. Okay, they might be related to other tribes around them, but maybe a tribe 2 or 3 steps away, they're a little bit different from you. That's like that all over the world. Okay, what I think is dangerous is if we reduce our culture to just, oh, we're just black. Okay, that concept was put on us, so we're just homogenizing ourselves down to a color.
Yeah,
So
I didn't
that
say nothing about color. Huh? I didn't say
okay,
nothing about no. I didn't say nothing about color, and I didn't say it was just everybody has a ethnic.
I'm not saying you in particular, brother. I'm just listening
Yeah,
to
but
what you
the thing
said,
is
and I've heard
that
this
tribal
argument,
stuff
and
can be
that's
very dangerous, man.
it
I'm
can be,
saying,
it can be,
you know what I'm saying.
it can
So,
be.
and you look
But
what happened
So
to Rwanda.
Jay Lion, Jay Lion,
All right,
so
man.
can being a blood or a
Jay
crip
Lion.
All right,
or
Let
all
me
being on
right.
the
break it
south
down.
side
Let
or the
me break
west
it
side.
down to you. Let me break it down to you like this. Let's find an impasse here, right?
Yeah,
Jay Lion, he dropped off. Oh, sorry, but here's the thing, right? Hope he comes back on. The thing is, though, I've learned, right, that person's tribe is their story. You know, we understand
exactly.
that we're all part of the black race and everything like that, but tribe is part of their story. And I try to tell a lot of African Americans who are Pan Africans, right? They tell us, "Oh, you got to forget your Black American." No, you can't do that. You have 400 years of history. That's a story.
Thank
You
you.
know, what I'm saying? You can't do that. You can't just forget who you are. No matter what, we can all look at a higher purpose of, start saying, okay, we understand that you're Yoruba, you're this like that, but we're all part of the black family. We're not. Let's work together, but never lose your identity.
Right,
Because that's your story. I've learned that over the years when I clashed with Liberians over the years. They're like, "Yo, Colin, you want me to forget that I'm a Bassa? You want me to forget that I'm a Gola? You want to forget?" Yeah, well, but no. But I learned over the years to appreciate and not diminish their experience. Right? The which we call the mono people have a unique story. And as I studied them, I say, yeah, they'll tell you about the ancient times and different rituals and everything like that. And I said, I want to, they preserve that. Like my brother, great African, he's lives in Wisconsin and his wife's Jamaican, and he says all his kids were HBCUs. He has a Pan African viewpoint, but his sister is a scholar, right? They know their tribe, they know their history, they know their names, everything like that. K Summer, it goes back hundreds of years, you know? But he's still a black man in America. I'm a black man in America. This is our reality. And also, I want to see more black African Americans come to Liberia and build and everything like that. But the bottom line is, like, we can't with this all thing is, oh, we're just all black. No, it don't work like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
My thing is, I was saying, I mean, black is a color, man. So my thing is, um, the whole concept of blackness is a colonial term to begin with. So I would say my thing is people. People can respect people. Um, wherever ethnic group you come from and stuff like that. But I think that those things are um manipulated for we call it these ethnic identity politics becomes a problem. And I think that what I'm saying,
yeah, we have to
that's what
we
I'm
have to
saying.
call
You can
that out.
respect, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can respect, uh somebody else ethnic group or something like that, and that's different. It'll be like, okay, well, I come from this ethnic group or this and stuff, but the most important thing, oh, okay, I'm Nigerian, or oh, okay,
Let me ask
I'm
you this,
this.
brother Jay Lion. Let me ask you this, brother. Now, here's the problem I have with Ghana, right? You still have chiefs, right, that own all land, this chief like this. And that basically is feudalism,
Hmm.
1,000 years behind the rest of the world, where your tribe translates to politics. In the modern world, right, like in England, right, they have a royal family and everything like that, right, but they have no political power. In the United States Constitution, right, we don't recognize any nobility, status, everything like that. The Liberian Constitution does not recognize like that, although they have in the hinterland, they have the paramount chiefs that always basically every time a new president came in, they came in and gave their allegiance or the ceremony that's unique to Liberia, where the paramount chiefs come
right.
in and they were on the government payroll and they were like, yeah, we know you control, but it's an uneasy truce, whatnot.
Yeah.
You get the paramount chiefs and everything. It's uneasy truce, but that's how they did it because they understand that you cannot have a thing. And in Liberia, they said was the least tribal out of all the groups people. Why? Because they had a society where it was a black country. You can be black, right? That's what unifies us, right? But at the same time, you're a Bassa, you're a Vai, you're a Gola, and everything like that. And also in Liberia, it's funny is Liberia, the new tribe is your political party. You know,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yo,
That's
yo,
true.
That's
I'm
true.
gonna tell
That's
you right
true.
now.
Yeah, that's true.
When I went there back in March, right? And I'll say, yo, this is funny, man. I'm like, I love my Liberian people. Oh, my Liberian people. I love the death, man. But yo, I tell me why the first night I'm there, like, yo, man, Kyle, we can't go to that area. There's some trouble. Bloods and Crips. No, the CDC.
CDC.
And you want to go to
That
that?
CDC era, my man. We can't
Yo,
pass over there.
Yeah.
man, what the fuck? Yeah, yo, the CDC was out, man. Yo, you're supposed to be a political party, man. Yo, y'all niggas running the street, the corners, and whatnot. Yo, what the
It's
fuck, man?
yeah. I mean,
It's hilarious.
it's
Liberia's a beautiful country, man. Lovely people, man. They're
yeah.
hilarious, man. You'll love them, man.
Yeah, every I mean, let me just say this too. Okay, yes, there are 17 different tribes, and some of them have subdivisions. You can end up with up to 30 different subdivisions if you really broke it down. But these groups are grouped together in like 4 or 5 major groups. So you have like the tribes that are more from Guinea, from that migrated from that region, that are related to the Malinke or what we call Madingo. Those are the Mande tribes. So there you would have like the Pele, the Mana, the Madingo, the Vai, groups like that came from Mali.
Yeah.
The Loma, okay?
Hmm.
And then you have the groups that are from the Kwa speaking people that
Hmm.
are in the southeastern people, like the Bassa people, the Kru, the Kran, the Gribble, the Sapo. Those people are all related culturally. Their culture
Yeah.
looks the same, you know. And you have some people that are, in the middle. Then you have those that migrated from the U.S. or Caribbean, the so-called Americo-Liberians. They
Yeah.
have a certain culture. Okay, all that exists in Liberia, but we intermingle. We
Yeah.
eat each other's food. We all speak Liberian English. Not what I'm speaking now. I'm speaking what we call Siris. That's what African Americans speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know how to speak that.
Kolokwa.
So colloquial.
Kolokwa.
If I know colloquial doesn't sound like what we're talking. What we're talking
I
is
can I
Siris.
can understand a little bit. When I'm in Liberia, I'm in for a while, man. I can start speaking Kolokwa.
You
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
choice, sir.
yeah,
You
okay,
pick it
yeah,
up, you
yeah.
lost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I'm around Liberians, man, trust me, man.
You pick
They'll say,
up,
yo,
you pick
Colin, you
up.
a Liberian. You're a Liberian. They'll say, like, yo, man.
Yeah,
I
you pick
said,
up.
I said, man, I
So,
was born on 16th Street. They look at me
mhm.
like, man, God, yeah,
But
yeah,
oh, he dropped off. That's too bad. But
yeah.
talking about the uniqueness of the different tribal groups or groupings. For example, the Bassa tribe. The Bassa tribe, the Kru, the Kran, the Gribble, the Sapo, that whole group. When you sit and talk with their elders. I talked to a Bassa elder. He told me this. He said the Bassa people migrated all the way from Mozambique.
Hmm.
In pre-dynastic times, they were in Mozambique. They migrated into
I
Kush.
thought somebody told me they came from Ethiopia.
No, they were in Kush, and they were part of the groups that were in the 25th dynasty. Then when
Hmm.
that dynasty fell, they went toward Central Africa and they organized themselves around Lake Chad for 300 years. They had 3 different kingdoms. The last one got overran by Islamic groups, and then that whole group dispersed. Some went down to South Africa, some went to the Congo, some went to Cameroon, some went to Nigeria. In fact, one of the groups that went into Nigeria, they took on the name Bassa Nge. And the reason why they were called Bassa Nge was because there was a general that was part of the Bassa people around Lake Chad when they were invaded by a neighboring tribe that were trying to Islamize them. Nge decided he gathered some of his troops and he led the attacking army away from the civilians, basically. Took them on a wild goose chase. And then he led his people into like a cave to seek refuge. But by then they were in the territory of what's now Nigeria. But back then it wasn't. It was just another part of Africa. So they went in that cave. By the time the attackers came to find them, they couldn't find them. They didn't realize that there was a web over the cave mouth, so they thought nobody was in there. When those people left and Nguyen and his people finally came out, they decided to settle right there. So they called themselves Basa and Gay. There are other groups that kept going further up the coast. You'll see different groups in different countries on the West Coast, like Togo. There's groups in Ivory Coast that are related to this same group, all the way up to Sierra Leone. But in Liberia, those groups were the Bassa, the Kru, the Day. Those were the groups. The Bassa people even have their own script, their own indigenous script. So they're not gonna throw that away.
Yeah.
The Vai people have their own script.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks like Mariotic script.
Arabic. Yeah, it's like Arabic.
Or it looks like Arabic Mariotic mix.
And
So
also they have their unique architecture too. You know,
Yeah.
that they modernize too.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so
they're
they're not
proud
going
of
to
who
give
they
up their
are.
culture.
Yeah, they're
And
proud
what
of who
gets
they
me
are.
is they were accepted for who they were at the beginning because they just because they got education and everything like that. They joined. Like I said, when I wrote my book Journey to the Promised Land, I put that in the book that there was like in the marriage where the top Vai people married into the Johnsons. Johnsons was the most elite family in Liberia. You know, and
Which Vai family was that? The Massaquoi?
the Massaquois. You know.
Yes, the Massaquoi.
The
Yes.
Massaquoi fam and the Johnsons married into each other. And so
Okay.
you had two elite in the Fambalas. The two
Mm-hmm.
elite families of both sides of the persuasion, you want to call it, right, married
Mm-hmm.
into each other. You know, how come that's not Liberia's story? There was all the powerful Liberia. You
Right.
know, so there's been a concerted effort to try to destroy the real Pan African history of Liberia. You know, it starts with marriage and
Yeah.
understanding and learn how to get along. That's the whole thing. You know,
Well,
you know.
okay, the Massaquoi, there were certain families like the Massaquoi family that had contact with the American Liberians that were in, Monserrato. So it was like the meeting of two worlds.
Yeah.
So people that were indigenous up country they were seeking opportunity because these new people now had come into the country and they were kind of establishing the agenda. There was no Liberia yet. It was, regional kingdoms that were all competing for power. So once the country got formed now, these elites from the Americo-Liberian side and the elites from the indigenous side met in the middle.
Yeah. Like I said, you
So,
have to have the elite. You
right.
know,
So,
they could carry the message to the masses and whatnot. You
right.
need that. You need everything. People don't understand this, right? You have the Grebels when they got educated, they saw the light. They said,
Mm-hmm.
"Look, we gonna go to French or we're gonna go to Monrovia." They said Monrovia is over there. We can pretty much do it. I think we'll stick with Monrovia.
Right.
They're like this. When half the people don't understand the Galenas, the Vi people lost half their territory to the British in the Galenas,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that because they're like this. And then now they were regretting it, like, damn, the British are freaking bastards, and the
And
British tried to use it, yeah,
we lost land to Guinea. We lost
to
land to
Guinea.
Ivory Coast because of
And you know what
French.
happened?
Yeah.
A lot of people in when the Mono tribe was broken on both sides, you know
Yeah.
how what they did? They tried to come over to the Liberia side,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
French, how brutal the French were in exploitation. They said, man, shit. They
Yeah.
said, we thought we were going to be dead with the white man, the French. We said, hell no. And their independence, remember that? The French tried to give that territory back to Liberia. Liberia refused it, remember? He tried to, Seiko Tory and all of, what the French did? They poured concrete in all the sewer lines and dug
Salted the
up,
ground.
and destroyed the country on their way out.
Yeah. Yeah. Pulled up
You
all the
know,
power lines.
blow up all the power lines, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they said they would, and then they want to give that land they took a century before back to Liberia. Liberia said we don't want it. No, that's part of Guinea. Liberia was twice the size it was is right now.
Yeah.
That area region is rich in gold and everything. But Liberia said no, we don't want it because it's going to cause tensions between Sekou Touré and Tubman. So we don't want it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what Pan Africanism, real Pan, is all about. It's a duty as a Pan Africanist, right? It's to really know your history.
Yeah.
If people don't know their history, they get up there and they start talking babble, blah blah blah. You don't know. Look, learn the history, learn the whole entire story. Like I do insurance for a living, right? You know what they tell us all the time when we do our certifications every 2 years when it's your responsibility when you go sit down with a person to be knowledgeable of what you're talking about. You can't be like, okay, well, I didn't know that, whatever that. It's your responsibility. That's part of being ethical, being knowledgeable. And you got people right now in the Pan African world who are knowledgeable about the history of countries like Liberia and everything like that, and that means they're not ethical. You know, if you don't know something like you explained a lot of stuff to me that I didn't know. And I'll admit that. That's just being ethical. If I don't know something,
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna say, hey, look, I'm gonna listen to this brother what he has to say to add to the conversation. That's just being a good character. But when people like, I don't want to know nothing, blah 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 blah. That's where the tribalism comes in. Where you don't want to know. If you realize that we're all human beings, that we can get along with each other and whatnot, it's not just being black. Because the bottom line, if you're relying on just being black, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Because
That's
the
not enough.
because the bottom line is this: as soon you're only black, as soon as that white man comes with that brown envelope with money and whatnot, have we learned anything in 500 years, right? Oh, they're all black. We're all good. The next thing you know, you're on the bottom of a slave ship. Getting shipped off the sea.
Yeah.
You wonder what the
And,
hell happened.
that's something I don't know. I mean, it may not be the subject matter of this show, but I'm glad
Okay.
you brought that up. But so you have Africans. They weren't called Africans then, but what we refer to as Africans on the West Coast. They're in their different kingdoms. They're competing for power. They're not living in harmony. Okay, it's not the land of milk and honey. They're fighting for power. The Yorubas are Oyo is attacking Dahomey and taking slaves. Those Oyos that are attacking are Africans. Those slaves they're taking are African. Then Dahomey gets tired of that and they decide, hey, fuck that. Right? So then they start doing it too. Stuff like that happened in Liberia too, between tribes. Okay?
Yeah.
So the people that ended up on the short end of the stick were from different tribes. They weren't African American. Not yet.
Yeah, that came later.
That came later. They were all from different tribes. Okay? In some cases, like for example, in the Bassa tribe, there's a story of a particular Bassa man named Diwara. Diwara was very talented. He was a good hunter. He was a ladies' man. He could really talk well. Everybody looked up to him. Well, he got into relations with one of the chief's wives, the chief's favorite wife, who was also Bassa. So they're all Bassa. And the reason why the chief found out he was doing this because he was writing love notes in the Bassa script that the chief could read. So he intercepted the message, found out what was going on, took him into custody, dismissed this woman out of his harem. And then instead of killing Diwara, since he was a chief and they were on the coast, he always had foreigners come with ships to trade goods. So he just said, take this guy out of here. I don't want to see him again. So now that's a Bassa man putting another Bassa man into slavery. Diwara ended up in South America. So his descendants could grow up one day and say, hey, those Africans sold us into slavery. He was like, no, your own people sold you into slavery, man. Something was going on back then. There was some kind of circumstance happening.
People don't understand the extent of Africans selling each other, tribes selling fellow tribesmen. Thing it's just money, opportunity and whatever
That's
like that.
it. Yeah,
It
that's
had
it.
nothing to do with
Yeah,
warfare and everything. So that's what you have to realize.
yeah,
The
yeah. And I think,
African consciousness comes in later. After I think you know what it was after. Hold on, J-Line. When we came to America, right, and the white man made us realize that the most important thing about you is your color, right? And the white man took slavery as a way of condemning Africa altogether, right? And the fact that Africans didn't know the consequences of that. That's what I think a lot of stuff happens, because a lot of Africans like, okay, you win slavery, whatever, like this. But when to the African American, African Caribbean, whatnot, the brutal institution of slavery, right? We're saying to ourselves, one night, we always ask the question: if Africans knew that this was going to happen, would they have sold us into slavery? Probably would happen anyway. But
Yeah,
the
it
whole
probably
thing
would
is,
happen anyway.
it
It
probably would
probably
happen anyway,
right.
But so that's
They
what we're
weren't.
saying.
Yeah, they didn't think that these people were going off to work a work release
Disneyland,
program or
Disney
something.
World.
Yeah, they were prisoners or they
Yeah,
were captured in war. If
yeah. So
you fight in another nation, even if they look like you, but they're not
yeah,
really like you all the way. They're different. That's why you're fighting them. So you
yeah.
fighting they killing your people, you killing their people, you capture some of their people. What are you gonna do with that?
And the thing is, when white people showed up to the coast, they had enough sense because of history to be united. White people always passed laws and everything, even when they fought against each other, Portuguese and everything. They would make sure they would never give Africans certain weapons, that'd be a
Mm-hmm.
threat to them. The Portuguese, Dutch, and the French, and the Danish, all these people, they were white men first.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
yeah,
very few or very often, very few times where white men had conflict with each other. Sometimes they did over the slave trade. There was always some sort of general
Money.
disagreement. Say, okay, we're African. And one of the things they did was they favored certain tribes, like the Crew
Right.
tribe. They say, look, in all the countries in Europe, these tribes, when you see these tribal markings, send them back. Why? Because the Crew tribe was the partners in this transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
And so they did that. Oh, several, not just the Crew, but several other
Others too.
tribes.
Yeah, others too.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
they like. Go ahead, J
yeah.
Line.
But I think that's just part of human things. The reason why, like, Native Americans, right? The so-called Native American, um, what happened in America, right? A lot of them lost because they didn't work together because they had a lot of tribal um stuff that was things. Because I was talking to a Native American, he was saying because they didn't work together to get the Europeans off America. They was only fighting as one tribe. And also, even with you go back to the Germanic tribes, like the British tribes, they had it too. What I'm saying? They had um this thing too. They didn't see each other as white. Like white, then the whiteness, the concept of whiteness didn't come to later, right? Like the Greeks or whether you're Greek Italians wouldn't even consider they wouldn't consider white or the Anglo-Saxon until later, huh?
The
You
Romans
know,
enslaved the
yeah, yeah,
Germanic tribes.
yeah, stuff like that. So it
Right.
happens with all.
About the Native Americans, right? Here's the thing about the Native Americans, right? What they always say, right? The Native Americans, for the most part, they like to have sex, smoke their weed, and everything like that. Have their harems and everything. Do very little. And they live off the land and everything like that. Europeans were moving on to this continent, right? Moving on to this continent, right? Building cities, towns, and trails. They had a vision of thing, and the Native Americans were simply in the way. Now, the Native Americans could have did this if they would have adopted some form of the white man's way, because the white man, I'm not just here to defend the white man, but he did try to basically say, look, adopt our ways. You can have your villages, you can have this, and we like this. But the Native Americans, they preferred hunting, they preferred doing all sorts. They rejected education, they rejected it. At the same time, the white people favored them over the free blacks that were living here. Because they didn't see the Native Americans for some reason as a racial threat to them as far as genetics. They're like, okay, there's a lot of half breed white Indians, whatever, like that, walk around like the French and Indian people. French and Indian people. But the bottom line is this: the white man, we adopted the white man's way of life. We did what he said to do, and we still were rejected. You know, Native Americans rejected the white. They want to live how their ancestors lived. You know, and also Native American people said something. The Comanches and Apaches were more vicious to each other than the white man. What you know how many massacres the
Yep.
Apaches
Mm-hmm.
did towards other Native Americans? No, they weren't united. You know. And so now in hindsight, oh, we should have fought against the white man. Well, you should have thought about that when you go raiding villages and taking virgins and taking brides and everything like that, taking people's crops and everything like that. People don't talk about that part of Native America. Also, Native Americans owned African slaves. They were
Yep.
slave hunters
Yep.
and everything like that. You know,
A lot of the
they were
Cherokees.
they were yeah, Cherokees and the Choke what's it the Choctaw, you know, and all these
Yep.
other people. You know, these people own slaves, and I know for a fact these people were vicious slave owners, you know, and so
Yeah.
they look at it now like, oh yeah, well, you know, look, you know, they got to hold that L. Now I feel bad for the Sioux people, you know, the Sioux Nation was the last stand in North Dakota and stuff like that. You know, you feel bad for the Sioux people, but these Native Americans that were on the eastern seaboard of the United States, I don't feel nothing for them. I feel bad for them. But people remember when they said the Cherokee Trail of Tears was to Oklahoma, and they'll say, "Oh, the Native Americans like this, like they were forced to go." But what they don't show you is that when the Native Americans were being, oh, they had black slaves in tow. They had slaves and black slaves in chains. Why do you think Why do you think so many black African Americans was in Tulsa and Oklahoma? They were descendant of slaves enslaved by Native Americans. You know that people don't
Mm.
realize that. You know, Tulsa most of the people that in Black Wall Street at the time were African Americans. Those are the only real African Americans that have Native American blood in them. The ones from Oklahoma. You know, they have Native American genes and like that. The high percentage of Native American blood. You know, the ones black people from Oklahoma and that part of Texas. You know, and so therefore the Trail of Tears, you see real pictures of the Trail of Tears. The Native Americans while they were being marched to Oklahoma and whatnot out of Georgia, they had this black slaves in tow. You know,
I
but it
got,
was
I got, I
that
got, a,
part.
I got a question, Carla. Not necessarily for you,
Yeah.
but for everybody. How come we don't spend as much time on the trans-Sahara slave trade?
I'll answer that in a question, right?
Okay.
First of all, the Trans-Saharan slave trade, right? It's like this.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there was slaves coming from the north to the south called Mamelukes, white slaves. You know,
Mm-hmm.
prisoners of war when that slave markets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there was large numbers of African slaves that were going south, and it was not really based on so-called race, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because there were white blacks in North Africa and everything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The transatlantic slave trade, right, was solely based on race, you know, and so therefore, like we give an example, and you go to places, the kingdoms of Mali and all this other places, a slave was a slave, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whether black, white, whatever like that. You know, you could be a slave in Marrakesh, slave in Tripoli, whatever like that, slave, right? The transatlantic slave trade was a commercial venture, right, on a larger scale. And also, basically, you had black bodies were sold more than 7 times the amount of gold, you know? And so, therefore, that's why people talk about the transatlantic slave trade as opposed to now another part of slavery is the East African slave trade, right? Even though there was slavery going on in slave markets and Zanzibar and stuff like that, it was never on the scale that you have in the New World. Remember something:
Oh
this
yeah.
slavery in the New World developed the New World. Cities like Amsterdam, Lisbon, Madrid, and Liverpool, and everything were backwater, disease, swampville, and the slave trade transformed these cities to metropolises. You know, with slavery in East Africa, okay, there was slaves and everything like that, but it was not. It didn't produce the wealth
No,
that
yeah.
the transatlantic slave trade did. You know.
How did it affect the people and the societies that were there? Did it decimate societies? What happened there? Like in East Africa and in the Trans-Sahara, how did that affect those
Well,
societies, those
it's like
Africans?
this. it's like this. When you look at East Africa, right? People will tell you, okay, I speak Swahili, but they don't understand Swahili was a freaking was really an Arabic, slave trading language.
Right.
Same thing with being a Muslim. It was a Muslim trade.
Mhm.
It was a Muslim trade. And most Africans on that thing practice Islam. You know, and they're Muslims. And it's hard to. I remember the girl that Tiffany Banner that was in Tanzania a
Mhm.
couple of years ago. The young girl. You
Yeah.
know, remember her? She said something that was really profound, right? She said a Tanzanian person said to her as an African, not her, but her friend, said, "Once a slave, always a slave." That's not the African mind. That's the Arab mind.
Yeah.
So in other words, basically, people basically have that Arabic culture, that Arabic influence and everything. You asked about the impact, right?
Mhm.
People really still believe that okay, Arab world, Islam is superior.
Mhm.
That's why I don't understand why people go to Tanzania. I have no idea.
Yeah.
If I knew that's the mentality there.
Mhm.
I mean, is that all of Tanzania?
For the most part, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Something like Zanzibar. I think people go there because of Zanzibar and stuff like that.
Well, if you would go, if this was 100, matter of fact, as late as 1960, do you know there was they found chain slavery? Look it up. There's people in the trans Indian slave trade was still going on. They had black Africans locked in slave being sold in 1960. Video
Mm.
footage. The
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the big worst slave trade was Tipu Tib. He was a black man.
So you were saying that a Tanzania said once a slave, always a slave.
Yeah, Tanzania said to
Well,
Tiffany
but
Banner's friend.
what's so dumb about that, right? Like even with some Somalis, right? You go to one of the Arab countries, they'll let you know that you ain't no Arab, man, real quick, and stuff like that. And I think that basically like the same way with and I think that what you call it the Arabs in some ways. I was saying, or in some ways, I would say not all. In some ways, they're worse than the Europeans in some ways, huh? And I
They
think
are.
that and I
They
would
never
say,
went through an age of enlightenment. They don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
they have,
yeah,
have an age of enlightenment. They don't have an age of reason, logic, and everything. Everything. So
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
bottom
yeah, yeah,
line is
yeah,
this. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What I'm saying? They're very brutal type of people, but I think that a lot of them and like how they treat a lot of black folks, Africans in those Arab countries is horrendous, huh? It's
yeah,
really horrendous, man. And I'm thinking that I would say that what you call it like you have a Somali person and look like they took a bath in a chocolate, saying that like, oh, I ain't no I'm not African, I'm not black, and look like you went took a bath in chocolate. 'Cause I remember it was
yeah.
like
It's sad. It's the bottom line is this. Reality is this. That's why we have to face this delicate thing of what we call Pan African. Don't join the Pan African ship of fools. You got some black people who basically I know them. Well, now I hope they if they're not listening to me right now. I hope they're not offended when I they'll go to a place like freaking Somalia and talk about, yo man, Somali girls be looking good. Yeah, that girl think you a slave. You know, these people. Yeah,
but
so
but the thing is with Somalia, I think like they don't like anybody. I mean, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Even the other African Muslims and stuff like that. And like, I think the only ally is maybe the booty or something like that. Nobody likes the Somalis like in Africa. Huh? They have
yeah,
Well,
no friends.
Somalia's got real problems.
yeah. Let me just say this too, though, brother. Let me just tell you. Okay, Africa is tribal. Okay, it doesn't matter what tone your skin is. If you're not part of that tribe, that culture, you're different. You might as well have blue
Yeah,
skin.
yeah, yeah. I know,
Okay,
and that would be Africa's downfall right there, and that would be the
yeah,
downfall,
that's something we got to fix. But
and
that's the
I'm saying,
reality.
and that will be their own destruction, and I think that,
Now
and we,
let me
But
ask the brothers this. Let me ask you brothers this.
yeah,
I've always said, right? The problem in Africa right now is since we are tribal, right? We didn't go through like the Europeans and everybody else did. The Chinese, where were the Chinese and everybody else was 10,000 years ago, you know? And so therefore they went through France, right? France used to be dozens of tribes, right? After the Roman occupation, right? Right?
Hmm.
They had the Gauls, the Calvins, the Lombards, everything like that. They had intermarriage and that urbanization. They had religion, they had urban. I said they had industrialization, everything. People became Frenchmen. In Africa, we have not basically had those states. Liberia is the one chance we really had, right? Where you had what we call a melting pot of African cultures and whatnot. People kept their identity, but they basically said, okay, we're black, we're Liberians, and we get along, not just by talk, but by just by action, where people can move freely among each other and everything like that. Now, here's the problem. Here's the thing. If we want, in order for us to achieve like that, right? We can have our own differences and everything like that. But as soon as they white, this is the part people don't like to say. But as soon as a white person comes and says, "I like you're a vi, you're no, no, no." As far as I'm concerned, we're all Liberians. We're all black. When I was growing up, right? The white kids we used to be over like I grew up in New York, right? A bunch of ethnic white people were there. Yeah, Jews, Italians, everything like that, right? And they used to joke with each other, blah 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 blah. Blah. But when I came along, right, like that, all they made it clear, all you need to know is he's white. That's not your business to talk about. He's a Polish, he's a Polak, or you're black. So far as he's concerned, they made it clear that to him you're that's a white person you're talking to. Well, there's Italian, all that means nothing. We're not supposed to point out their ethnicities. See, by the same time they joke around with each other. Hey, you're Irish, you're Mick, you're German, you're Kraut, whatever like that. But when it came to black people, right, all you know is you're white. We need to do the same thing. When we can have our differences and everything. But what I don't like when I see African brothers, right, they'll get around white people and start, oh yeah, we're different from the this that. That. White people play on that division, but you go to them, and you can't go to a white person and say, oh yeah, I like you. You Dutch better than you English people. They're gonna look at you like, boy, you know, you talk about a fellow white man to me, they're not gonna let you do it. It's about
That's
power.
what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I was saying
You
that, like,
know?
that's why I was saying there's not like, it's like, okay, we can respect each other's differences and stuff like that, but like I said, it doesn't mean that's what I'm saying. It's not really that productive. And I think that that's what happened with Rwanda, right? And I think the white folks came, oh well, this person is better than this
Yeah, they
person,
favor the
and
Tutsis.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah, yeah,
favor. They
yeah, and all that
deliberately
type
favor
of
the
nonsense.
Tutsis.
Yeah, they follow the Tutsis, and that's how that stuff started. And there's another genocide, and I
Have you
think
ever,
what
have you seen
Urban,
that movie Hotel Rwanda?
yep,
That movie is chilling, man. Sometimes in April
Yeah,
and
yes,
Hotel
it
Rwanda,
is.
that movie is chilling because
It made me feel like that, Liberia went through that same thing.
well, nah,
Because not on the
Liberia
same
was
level, not on the same level. What I mean
like,
is there was a scene in that movie where, people that were a little bit well off,
oh
when
yeah,
they
that's
came for
always gonna
them,
happen.
yeah, when they came for them, oh, that happened in
Yeah,
Liberia.
what you call in Liberia,
Ugh.
if you could be a Vi tribe, right? But if
Once
you
you
were
were well
educated,
off, you
or
Congo.
once you're well off, you were deemed to be a freaking Congo person,
Congo, yeah, you Congo.
Congo man. Yeah, and people had to get on a Liberian colloquy, put on raggedy clothes and whatnot, just to survive and whatnot, Because the bottom line is, if you basically look like a Congo man, oh, you Congo man, I ain't no Congo
Congo,
man,
man. Yeah.
I got upstone fruit on the side of the road. So people would start hiding their education credentials and
Yeah,
whatnot, it was just a mess.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can't also we cannot have a society, right, where people feel that if they achieve their target,
yeah,
cannot have that. So it's not even about tribe, right? It's about achievement, right? You cannot have like that. People should be able to be wealthy, rich, everything. Society should protect every group of people. And when you start othering the rich, othering the elite and everything, you know what they end up doing? Leaving the country. So I
Yeah, it's
forget this,
true.
man. I'm gonna go reserve. I'm gonna go to
Yeah,
Italy. You know, or I'm gonna
yeah,
do this. You know, I'm hating my own country. You know.
Yeah. That creates a problem, and I think that even with like South Africa with the xenophobia stuff and all this type of stuff. So, and I think that I would say that yeah, because I mean, we go to some cities, you have people that are married from like in urbanization. You have more intermarriage between like ethnic groups and stuff like that. When urbanization happens, right? Um, a lot of those stuff that happens. So, and I think that I don't know about Liberia stuff like that as much as far as like these intertribal these
Yeah,
interethnic group
people in
marriages.
yeah,
Liberia mixed together.
yeah,
That nobody
yeah,
we
yeah. They
Liberia's
mix, they
mixed
mix, they
together like
mix.
just
Yeah,
unreal, man. It's like unreal. Like you have a hodgepodge of African American cultures. Like this how it is in Liberia, right? The first time I went to Liberia, right? I was like, man, when I was hanging around Sincor in Congo Town, when I said, man, this is cool. I can deal with this like America, right?
yeah,
But after that first week when we were going up country to Brookville, and I
yeah.
had to drive through Douala, I said,
Ah,
"Holy shit, I'm in Africa." You know, this is Africa. I was like, "Yo, man," I was like, "God damn!" I said, "Yo, man, what the hell? I'm in
yeah,
Africa, man.
yeah,
You was here for a whole week." I said,
yeah,
"I'm finally in Africa."
yeah,
But the bottom line is, it's just like a hodgepodge of everything. You have African American culture there. You have it's just everything. You have
yeah.
every black culture in the world seems like it's. I've seen Ethiopians there. I've
Yeah.
seen Somalis there. There's everybody. There's
Nigerians, Ghanaians,
Nigerians, Ghanaians. There's Nation
Sierra
of Islam
Leoneans,
there.
yeah,
You see, I
Nubians,
seen, yeah, I see, oh, everything. I seen
Hebrews.
freaking thugs from Philly there and whatnot. On Clay Street. Philly cats and niggas that deported or not. Thugs hanging out on the street corner. It's a hodgepodge of modern black society right there, all in one place. You know, you know. But yeah, so you get that cultural wake
I
up,
mean, I
and
know it
so
could be done.
yeah, so it's all about socialization, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I think
Socialization is the best thing, man. Socialization, people rubbing elbows and getting to know each other and stuff like that. The club scene in Liberia is lit. Everybody, people dress. Swear to God, I never seen anybody dressed like that in my life. People coming out looking like $1 million. I don't know
million
where they get the
dollars,
money from and whatnot. When you go to
man.
Liberia, you go to the club, bring your A game, bro. But people out there know how to dress. I'm telling you now, they know how to dress. And get in the clubs and everything like that. And people, look, man, like I said, it's the oldest country in West Africa. Liberia, culturally, Liberia will be fine. I got no doubt about that. This is the only thing about Liberia is politics.
Yeah.
But as far as like black people getting along with each other, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. We don't have that ethnic tension and whatnot like you do other places. That's just the
I
truth.
think after the last civil war, that kind of
Yeah, that did it. That
yeah,
did it.
that people don't want to go back to that.
The people
So,
don't want to go back to
like
that.
you said, the new tribes are the political groups.
The political groups.
Yeah,
Them I can sort of deal with. You know, there's no tribes when there's political groups. And Facebook groups. You know, Facebook groups, and WhatsApp groups. Are the new tribes and whatnot.
people have parents from different tribes. It's
Yeah.
mixed up now. It's
You
just
know, when
yeah,
people live in America.
yeah,
Live in America, live overseas, and travel. They're
yeah,
influenced by what they see on the social media and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's not the same. It's not. It's not the same thing as it was years
yeah.
ago. Things have definitely changed for the better. So I got faith in this country. So
It's good to hear, Kyla.
yeah. Oh yeah. I do. I'm always repping Liberia, bro. I'm always repping Liberia. Like I said, I put my faith in it. My faith. You know. So
Hmm.
is anybody else gonna get on my money, man? Well, incapacitated, so I might want to, if you guys want to continue on, so unless we got some other. Business is discussed. Where's Bomani at? Hold up. See any interesting comments, Nope. Nope. I'm surprised G Star didn't get on.
Yeah, that's all of them, brother. So you can talk a little bit more. We can start wrapping it up, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
good.
man.
Yeah.
I think
Good flow of conversation.
Yeah, definitely
Let's
good
wrap it up in
conversation.
the next,
and I think
next 5-10 minutes.
and I think that's what it is. I think a lot of like uh Africa, like well use the term black, what the African descent people, like you said, the word black, um, um, the diaspora, or just we're not educated enough on geopolitics. And
Exactly.
I think that what you like you were saying that I think that getting that the manufacturing thing and all that type of stuff, very important. I think that people yeah, and I think that what is, you have to get people interested in the continent where, oh, I got to go to Europe, I got to go to the West and live this. They buy into this, the dream and all this other type of stuff, and I think that the way how you can sell the continent, I mean not sell the continent, I mean well promote it to like the youth and the young people. And I think, getting tourism, the people, oh, come to Africa instead of, going to Dubai and going to all these other places like Europe and all these different places, stuff like that, tourism, manufacturing, exporting different types of things and stuff like that. But it seems to me that like, it seems a
If
big
we could do the
problem.
basics, let me say this, brother J Lion, right? Africa has United States has an African Growth and Opportunities Act. That means if you manufacture in Africa, you could export to the United States duty free. You know, duty free. But who's taking advantage of that? Like we played the video earlier, right? Those companies that are exporting raw materials out of Africa aren't African companies.
Mhm.
We could get that conversation going, right? Get that conversation going because the way it looks like is you say African leaders with suits and ties on talking about what they're not exporting shit. They're letting
Mhm.
foreign companies come in, pay them, pay, and they're exporting the stuff. And it just angers me when people don't even know the difference between blood sucking extraction versus actual exporting, right? Actual exporting. We have to get to the point where we're the ones that are exporting finished product, right? Manufactured finished product, right? To a market, right? We have to be set up in the other country, right? To receive this and have our own distribution system set up in the other country, right? And so we
So do
got
you think?
buyers.
So do you think it's the governments that's stopping it, or you think it's up to the diaspora, or actually
Well, at the
the
bottom
people on the
line,
ground?
it's everybody's short sighted. Everyone's short-sighted. No one thinks on this level because, like I said, most African countries are not strong enough to work on these things by themselves, right? For example, Liberia and Sierra Leone should have had a railway built between a high-speed rail, and not only a high-speed rail, but a highway, pipeline, and logistics and a grid line going from Freetown to Monrovia. You know what that would do if they had right
That
there.
would
If you
that
had
would be tremendous.
that'd be tremendous. But Garvey proposed that 100 years ago. Has it been done? No.
Nope.
We're
So
sailing the
do you,
Pan African ship of fools. The
so yeah,
same old,
okay.
same old.
You have the same old, same old. So do you think that is so do you think it what you call it, without the diaspora, you think it won't be able to do it? So do you think so it was so do you think
That's a good question. The only reason why the African leaders are now coming back to about we need to do all this is because of the pressure from the diaspora. That's it.
so
Well,
oh so you think
when I say diaspora, I mean slave descendants and people who have an interest in their motherland. They know their diaspora, right? That's living on student visas and everything, aren't gonna say nothing. But African Americans and Caribbeans and everybody else, or Liberians that live in America, and people live in here and all like that, that have a voice inside of America, yeah, they're listening to that, because we have influence in these countries, you know. And so therefore they're trying to put on a nice face of progress to us, and we're trying to sell like I said, they know what to say. Like you said that debacle when Adu and all them getting up there talking about the West been bleeding after 100 years at the UN. You notice how when the African leaders are speaking, nobody's in there but black people in the UN chambers. You ever notice that? All the white people don't clear it out, you know, and they know you're gonna say your little Pan African bluffing and babble and everything like that, and you're gonna get. I said one sister who has this one older black sister, right? I think her name is Pan African something on YouTube. And one of these sisters that's retired, they got a little YouTube channel and whatnot. I just love me some President Adu. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. I said, he's just saying that because he knows you're gonna be sitting in your thing on YouTube talking all stuff. They're playing us, Adu has no intention of doing anything right by Ghana and us. So the bottom line is this: what it's going to take, like I said, we have to be strong enough on the ground. Put our investments on the ground, put our machineries, build our warehouses and everything. Show that we could do hard work and get things done and everything, and then work with our partners in different African countries to create a new political, geopolitical dynamic.
You see how the Fula people work?
Oh, the full of people, no joke.
Every
They
African
work together.
society, they got a business class. They running things. All the shops you go to, Fula shops, are well organized. They're organized. They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
We got to be like that.
the full of people are no joke. The full of people are no joke. They don't get into politics really. There's a Fuller man running for whatever happened with his election. He was running for something like that. Somebody, oh, he can't run. Fuller man's like a Fuller
In
man is a Liberian.
Guinea, it was in Guinea.
No, it was a Fuller man running in Liberia for
In
something.
Liberia?
Yeah, and everybody kept saying he's a Fuller man. I think it was in Lofa. Everybody's like a Fuller man. I know it was Bong or Lofa, and it's like a
Okay.
Fuller man can't real. Everybody's like he's a Liberian, but the Constitution, hey, he's a Fuller man. Fools are not Liberians, whatnot. That's stupid. No, Fuller man is not like is not a Liberian. Yes, he is according to the Constitution and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's,
You know where all that comes from, right?
what's that?
Okay. So when Mali Empire broke up, was
Yeah.
breaking up with the famous Sunjata and Sumaguro Kante and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the tribes, all these tribes were that you see in Liberia. Some of them were in those kingdoms or in those empires. Ancient Ghana, ancient Mali. They just been migrating. As things bust up, they migrate to seek better, whatever. So when ancient Ghana collapsed or got kind of jumbled up, the Soso and the Malinke, they were vying for power to see who would become the new top dog to form a new empire. Well, the Soso lost and the Malinke won. So that's how they formed Mali,
Yeah, the Sumanguru was head of the Soso.
Sumaguro Kante. Right. But Sumaguro Kante had there were a collection of tribes that were more in line with the Soso were following a culture that was more in line with those tribes. So when Sumaguro Kante lost, a lot of those tribes that were into the Poro and Sande culture, they didn't want to deal with Islam, even though now they're all converting to Islam. But back then, they didn't want to accept it. So they migrated away from Mali toward the coast, and they ended up in like the Mende and the Temini and those groups. The Gola, the Vai, even the Vai left Mali because of political intrigue. But they ended up.
It's something about Islam. People don't realize that a lot of people resisted Islam. Some people in the cities like Jenne and everything embraced it because of trade, and people in the rural areas and whatnot migrated towards the coast,
right,
and stuff like that, to get away from Islam. People don't realize that. and a lot of those
So
people also
yeah,
invaded countries like Ghana, modern Ghana,
right,
Gold Coast,
right.
everything, and that caused tension, what led
That's
to
it.
the transatlantic slave trade. You know,
Right.
but you had all these people that were migrating into these areas, and they're like, oh, you got these foreigners, and they came, and that's what happened with the transatlantic slave trade. You
Right.
know, millions
So
of
yeah,
people.
so the groups from Mali that were trying to stretch Mali toward the coast, there became tension even in Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Cote d'Ivoire. In Cote
Mhm.
d'Ivoire, there's a divide between the people in the north and people in the south. The people in the north are
Mhm.
uh, associated with Islam and that culture that came from
Mhm.
that side. You know, the Burkinabes, the Burkina Faso people from
Same
Burkina
thing in
Faso.
northern Ghana. Same
Yeah,
thing with northern Ghana. You can see the
right,
architecture is different.
right. So
You
that
know.
that tension is there. So that's why in Liberia they treat Mandingos like that. And so they'll just say, oh, they're Mandingo. But if you go to Guinea, you know, there's no Mandingo. There's Malinke, and there's different other subgroups.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little, but everybody that's Mandingo is considered to be from Guinea, which isn't
Yeah.
fair because Mandingos have been in Liberia
What
for a long
about
time.
King Soso or Boatswain? He was a so-called Mandingo. He was one of the
He was,
people that helped the country reform. How
yeah,
did
yeah.
Mandingos get erased from history?
That's because there was a cultural battle going on. The groups that didn't want to accept Islam were all organized into the Poro and Sane culture. That was their culture. That's that whole Northwest cluster. So
Yeah,
now they're adopting Islam, but
what
back
about the
then it
Fulani?
was the Fulani were considered Islamic.
Yeah, yeah. I think I
So
just
when they
they
came
were
into
Islamic.
Liberia, they were looked upon as invaders, just like the Malinke.
Yeah, to this day,
Yeah,
unfortunately, right?
yeah,
If you are a Muslim, right?
yeah.
A Muslim, you're a foreigner, right? You got to
Hmm.
either practice Christianity or one of the societies, the
Indigenous,
social
yeah, right,
indigenous societies, right? If you're not
right.
Where is this
either
at?
Christian or like that, you're not Liberian, you
Liberia,
know?
Oh,
yeah. But you can be a Christian, okay, and even a Muslim, but you can still practice the traditional stuff. So there's a dual quality going on.
Yeah.
Only certain people go pure and say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore," or rely on that anymore. But most people they deal with those practices as well, and they understand them and believe in them. That those practices can affect them in a non-physical way because that's the culture. So Liberia is a lot like Haiti.
Complex society, you know. And like I said, that's what Pan-Africanism has to be careful, right? We have to understand that these are delicate things when you talk about somebody's customs and stuff like that. I've learned over the years, just can't be dismissive of that. You know, how do we build? What's going to change this is when African societies start becoming wealthy and prosperous and win. They'll have some sort of immunity to the divisions that naturally would happen towards other people. You know what I'm saying? From other people. If we could start winning as Black societies and everything and thriving, and like that, all the stuff like that will be managed. But as long as we're not winning,
yeah, yeah. I believe that. It's like to me. I think if like Africa is not strong, then I feel like black folks around the world is not strong. Huh?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the tree. I feel like that. That's the problem is the continent is not strong. But like, yeah, but I do think it's gonna have to take a joint effort. It just can't be just all.
Well, let me ask you a question, right? Have you really ever looked at the map of Africa on a globe, how big that continent is?
Yeah,
The
it's huge.
problem in
I mean,
Africa is the size, right? Think about it. India is about to overtake China's the large population, but India has one central government
mhm,
governing the same amount of people as Africa with only like 20% of its land space. Same thing with China, right? See how you can get things done? China got the
mhm,
CPP, Chinese Communist Party, governing millions of people, right? Say this is the way it goes, boom, boom. Here you got Africa divided on 54 countries, right?
mhm,
Spread out all over the place and everything like that. No central coordination. These Africans really lead one time. But the thing is, How do you put them together? It's not going to happen because each country has its own flag. I'm independent. No country in Africa, like I said, let's say everyone's going to keep the independence. But shouldn't the African countries want to secede some sovereignty to an international body? Like they did ECOWAS, and ECOWAS is failing, it flopped, right? What about an international African shipping association that governs the
Mhm.
ports of all of Africa, right? Where you can register your ship and ship on different stuff like that. You know, a governing authority, that governs ships along the coast. Wouldn't that be easier to for Africa to attract vessels that could carry its goods from and to the continent and everything like that if they were to coordinate an effort like that?
Yeah, yeah, it
But when you
would be
go
like a central thing, like even if it was like regional,
regional,
oh,
or regional, like
even
more
like a
regional,
Eastern, like East Africa or West Africa or Southern Africa. I mean, at least get that started. But I
but
think
no
that
African country wants to secede any sovereignty. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 that's
Asian
a
countries did that decades ago. Okay, Hong Kong is good for this, and we're gonna do this and everything like that. We have this regional body right here, this shipping like that is based out of
but I think
Singapore.
yeah, I think what it is like they don't see like the bigger picture. It seems like it's like when you leave is I think because when you grow up in the West, right? You get like a bigger picture. Like when you in like, when you actually in Africa, being outside of that, it's not you're not exposed. Once you expose and you just looked at a certain type of thing, then that idea of this stuff comes. It's kind of hard. It's hard to think about that stuff when like a lot of Africans who grew up in there, they don't see nothing. Like everybody's, there's things, but like the thing with like you said, when what slavery did and transatlantic slave did, people just became this one thing. It was like, it was it has to be like what do you call it? It has to be like a bridge, like
Mhm.
Pan-Africanism has to be like a bridge, like, um, you know, the young people are saying like, look, man, I've been, I was here. This stuff is not working. It has to be like some type of
You know what it
way
is?
to.
You know what it is? Africans, black people have to stop being intimidated by people that call themselves educated with degrees and stuff like this,
Mhm.
And we have to stop being intimidated by these people, that get up there and give nice speeches and everything, don't deliver anything, And so when that happens and everything, like why is President Biya still in power in Cameroon? Because Cameroons have no self confidence, right? If every day you hear this, be a that, the president has been president 44 years. The average Cameroon, like, what are we gonna do? I'm too stupid to run the country. I'm too stupid to choose anybody to run the country. So be as a president for life, whatever like that. And nobody wants to be that. Like I said, in the early part of the show, I said, look, uh, there's a fool that thing, and then there's people that don't want to be a fool. You know and the bottom line is sometimes you gotta take that risk of being made to look like a fool. There's a thin line between a wise man, a genius, and a fool. You know? And if you know that you're doing something right, right? You say, I got a plan to build a Cameroon. I got this, we go boom, 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 boom. You stand on that, right?
Mhm.
This is what we do. You don't have African leaders, Africans that will do that. They'll stand up, say, "This is what we do. This is what we're gonna do." It's always vague abstractions, and basically, it's always about who could beg the West for more money, who could be the darling of the West, who could do this, and nothing ever gets done. But if you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
if
Yeah,
somebody
I
says,
agree.
we could build this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna shut down for 10 years. I need 10 years of your life to sacrifice. I need 10 years of your life of hard work. I need 10 years of your life to do this one night. We're gonna be at this point right here. What Africa needs is their own Lee Kuan Yews, of Singapore.
You know,
And you gotta have that iron in you.
yeah, that everybody has we know what we can describe this problem in all kinds of different angles and analytical, but the bottom line is no matter what the situation is, we got to come up with a solution to solve it, because it is all messed up in many ways that we're all describing. It's all messed up. So we gotta come up with a solution. You know, it's many different things, there's many different ways messed up, but the solution of how we get there is what we got to figure out.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the bottom line.
I don't see like it getting done without any type of outside thing, like without the diaspora. It seems like, because it seems like somebody has to have the middle ground. It has to be somebody who sees how the West operates and see how it is. Because I think it's like we call it, it's a lack of sight. So I think that so it seems like to me it's gonna have to be
Let me ask you a question, brother. You
a
see, Joe
joint.
Biden says he wants to give $100 billion to Israel.
Mhm.
Now, I asked the question. He's already, you know how much money the United States has given to Israel over the years? Probably $100 billion so far. You
Mhm.
know, so your taxpayers' money, I tell you what, is going to go to Israel and Ukraine and all this stuff like that to fight some stupid war, right?
Mhm.
Black people are the deciding vote. Who put Joe Biden in the power?
Well,
Who?
yeah, it's a
Who?
lot.
Who? No, no. Let's answer that question. Who?
Well, there's
What group
a
of
lot of
people?
black folks that bought into.
No, no, no. It was black folks specifically that put Joe Biden. But it was black folks who basically got him the nomination over Bernie Sanders. And it was
Mhm.
black women that he's all black women. He thinks it's all black women, black men too. Oh, that's why he's giving black women all these opportunities, Supreme Court and everything like that. You know, the guy's a freaking idiot. You know, the bottom line is this though: how is it that black people can put the most powerful people in power in America, in the world, and whatnot, and we get nothing out of it? We get nothing out of it. How does a black race when that gets nothing out of its political vote? That's what I'm talking about. If we black people in America was based like this, we would have $100 billion going to Africa, right, for development. You know, that would solve like 90% of the problems on the continent. That amount of money flushing into the continent that we could
Yeah,
basically
but
tell. Yeah, go ahead.
but like you gotta remember. Oh, they say they're not African, huh? Oh, we're indigenous to America.
Oh, those cause now I ain't talking about those goofballs. They're only
Yeah, I
on.
think.
They're only online. They're
Yeah,
only
yeah, yeah.
online. They're only on TikTok. I don't even get upset with them no more. You know, these people are sick. You know, they're sick people who don't want to
They don't want to
acknowledge that
land.
the power
Yeah,
of bitches embracing your African heritage,
yeah.
and you'll be free.
They're hovering over their identity. The problem is that they're suffering from a hurt.
Yeah,
Okay, and it's hurtful what happened, but you know we descend from warriors. So
yeah.
at some point we gotta warrior up so that we can move on. Because if we're waiting for um, those who harmed us, waiting to like convince them that they were wrong so they can feel bad and guilty and
That ain't
help
gonna
us,
happen.
then what are we doing?
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you're
let's
right. That's
just
not gonna happen. And I
get up
think
and
like
move on and do what we got to do
And I
yeah,
see
and
the
but I
stop
bigger
think
crying.
picture.
yeah, and I think that the whole thing with a lot of black folks, they're caught up. Um, they think America is like America is run by the white dominated society. So, and they think that like um the Democrats or the Republicans and all this type of stuff are going to do stuff, and I was like, and I think that um what it is that like a lot of them just be like it's like, oh, you choose uh the less evils and stuff like that, and it doesn't really work like that. It's like okay, and I think that's what it is. A lot of people they're just not really thinking. Um, they're not really thinking that big, man. So, and I think that's the problem with it. And I think that there's like you're right. It's a lack of education, right?
Yeah, we're,
You know,
we're
it's
very
a
we're very undereducated. We're very undereducated as
yeah,
far as
yeah, it's
politics.
right.
Remember something? Black people didn't even think about politics, right? You know, it was like I remember the last time was black people came out about South Africa. I remember the apartheid South Africa. The Democrats and Republicans were competing for black votes in the 80s. And it was like, it was like that was it. In the 90s, black people sort of disappeared from politics and everything like that until Puff Daddy came out with that rock your vote, whatever, and all this kind of stupid stuff. We were basically apolitical for a long time. Now social media has convinced us, oh, we gotta get into politics, and we just all about. It was Obama came along, everybody started getting into politics again. And there's no real coordinated black
Yeah,
political
and the
class.
thing is, I would say like this, right? You said black folks, we don't have the luxury, right, to be ignorant, right? You know what I'm saying? White folks, they can do all this type of stuff. We the last people. We don't have the luxury to do to be in that on that mindset. And I think that
Mhm.
in the West, right, entertainment, the entertainment culture is as pop culture as taking over as such a distraction. It's like, saying it's just everything's a party, right?
Yeah,
Everything is just and basically it's just that like and I see that's a lot of problems with a lot of black folks. It's not just even black Americans, black immigrants.
everything's a joke. You
Yeah,
got
yeah, everything's
50.
it's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah.
Cardi
And
B, Cardi B. Now people saw Sexy Red said she liked Trump. Who the hell? Why would you even print something like that? And everything's a joke when it comes to black people. Like Malcolm X said, he said, "Look, they asked the top black leaders, and you had Lena Horne, Dick Gregory." He goes, these are puppets, these are clowns. And it's the truth though. To this day,
yeah, yeah, you're
nothing
right.
that was
Black
60,
folks.
60 years ago, and to this day, who basically speaks for black people? Fucking Whoopi Goldberg, whatnot, all these entertainers and everything like that.
Yeah, it's right.
50
It's like
Cent,
black folks has become like in the West has become court jesters, huh?
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Modern day court jesters and stuff like that.
they
And I
do that
think
on purpose. That's why they gave Tyler Perry a Netflix series, a big contract with Netflix, and they're investing a lot of money in Tyler Perry to keep you in that stupid festive foolishness and everything that we don't say, look, yeah, we want a pan-African agenda. If you don't vote for us, you don't give us we're not going to vote for you, and we'll say, look, we'll put Trump and the Republicans in power forever if you don't come up with a freaking solution. And if you trans one time, that's it. But if black people will rally behind that, we freaking take over the freaking world. We rule the world. But we don't want to do that. We just want to be foolishness. We want to get on TV and ask a political candidate, what do you like next? We will Netflix and chill or going to the movies. It's all foolishness.
yeah, yeah, right. But I think it's gonna come a time. I think things are gonna get so bad in the West, man, and I think that it's gonna have to like force. And I think that like it's yeah, and I think that like that's what's gonna have to happen. And I think that a lot of um and like the whole like this gender conflict and all this stuff that's
Yeah,
going on, that's here in the West. And I think that and like you're saying, is up to and when like I think when the family's gone, I think it's going to have to take to like a lot of guys is going to have to you know uh, check out this system, and I think a lot of guys are going to have to eventually leave the I said leave the West, because really I would say black men, especially in the West, right? I would say you only accept it in white society unless you're there to entertain them, right? If you're
yeah.
intelligent, you
Shaquille
know,
O'Neal,
if you're
Charles
not
Barkley.
challenging the white system, right? If you're not challenging them, if you're just there to entertain. If you ain't in some type of sports thing or any type of fitness, any type of that stuff, you're not really useful in Western society. And I think that and once black dudes stop playing that role and continue to check out, then I think that that's what's going to have to turn to
So what's happening right now? But the thing is, they focus on the people who are checking in. There's a lot of black men are checking out of this society, but it's a thing. It's that's what it is. Anyway, but I gotta get some sleep, brother. It's been good. You guys could carry on. You got Barn, Lion.
No, it's all good, brother. We do need to close out, so do
Yeah.
appreciate all
yeah,
you
all right.
brothers for sharing. Yeah.
Great show.
sharing,
Hey Var, did
and
you get my
networking.
information? You get my
No, I
information
didn't.
in the chat? Okay, I'm gonna put my email in the back chat. So
All right.
tell me if you get. Okay, hold up. Let me see. And I'll send you some information. Just email me. Call
Let's see what is it.
at gmail.com.
Yeah, so so my information is displayed, and so if you want to send anything in the back page area, private, go ahead. But family, thank you for joining us on another live stream of Pan-Africanism towards nationhood.
And
The journey
that's my
continues,
stuff.
and we'll reconnect with you.
That's my
So if
stuff in the
anybody
back
want to
chat.
connect with us about anything, just reach out to us. Our numbers, our information is available. Just send a message and reach out, and let's connect.
All right, brothers. Y'all take care.
All right, absolutely, brother Kali. You take care, and I'll
All right,
connect
man.
back with you. And
Peace out.
appreciate both of you brothers coming on, and catch up to you next time.
All right, great show, man. That's good,
So
man.
family, we're gonna close out with some good music from our
All
good
right,
brother
man.
Melanie
Thanks for
Ganji,
having me on, man. So yeah, all right.
Sons of Africa.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, live long, Africa.